Chapter 794, That Uncle Chang's Exposure. Chapter 794, That Uncle Chang's Exposure. Everyone caught the spy. However, one person was not there. A middle-aged man carrying a large black box on his back. The thin monkey laughed sinisterly. It's already too late, old Thing Chen, and all of you will die here? Ha! Long Fei walked up, and with a move of his dragon salyer S, he chopped off the head of the thin monkey with one strike. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Thin Monkey for obtaining 1200 experience, 200 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values. Experience is worth it. Moreover, he still had 10 points of striking energy value. At this moment, Manager Chen immediately said, "Go back." His 16 guards swiftly rushed back. Dao Ba looked at Long Fei and asked, "Master, what should we do?" Long Fei did not rush back. Because there was only one spy in the team, he did not expect anyone else, not to mention the inconspicuous middle-aged uncle. His mind was spinning. Long Fei looked at Dao Ba and the others and asked, "There's no rush." Long Fei clenched his fists. Since Manager Chun had already said that the item was the gold corpse, then there was definitely no mistake. And now, Long Fei had to make a choice. Give up the mission to steal the golden corpse, or should he continue to complete the mission and help Chun Duo's class task reward was not that great, but there was a chance that he would get something from a celestial item lottery. Quest abandoned. Long Fei struggled in his heart. He Shan said, "It would be better for us to escape by ourselves. This gorge is very complicated. Maybe there are other ways out." The others also followed. That's right. Let's take advantage of the fact that we still have strength left and can still walk. If we drag this on, it will definitely get out of hand. How do you want to select? Long Fei's heart sank, his tightly clenched fists relaxed slightly, and he said, "Go back." Dao Ba did not say anything and immediately said, "Let's retreat together." One-Eyed stood still and said, "I don't want to go back. I don't want to die." The Baldy also said, "I don't want to go back either. If we go back, even if Chun Duo wins, I'm afraid we won't be able to get out. We might as well take advantage of our strength and look for another exit." Dao Ba replied, "There is only one exit. As you all know, following my master is definitely not a mistake." One-Eyed said, "Dao Ba, he is your master, not my master. You have a slave nature in your bones. We are different from you. We are not born to be slaves, so we don't want to be other people's slaves." Dao Ba was furious and said, "One-Eyed, what did you say? How dare you say that again?" He had been a slave from the age of 10 until the age of 25. For 15 years, he had lived an inhuman life, and he hated his status. Also, no one was allowed to pick at his scars. Now that his brother had said such words, his heart ached. Long Fei said, "Everyone has their own aspirations. I will never force others to do anything. If you choose to follow me, I will definitely bring you out of this valley. Long Fei, will do as I say." Dao Ba looked at the Baldy and said, "Baldy, come with me." Baldy shook his head and said, "Dao Ba, we will die if we go back. You should know who old Chin is better than me, since he is an ancient gold corpse. Even if we go back safely, we will kill him. I do not want to die. Ancient gold corpse were too powerful. Chief Steward Chun would definitely not leave any survivors to spread the news." Thus, when they heard Manager Chun personally say, "ancient gold corpse," they knew that going back meant death. Chief Steward Chun would never let them off. They finally understood why the shipment this time was so generous and even offered fairy stones. This was the first time that Manager Chun was so generous. "I'll go back with you." He Shan walked over. Dao Ba excitedly said, "Good brother." However, amongst the dozen or so people besides He Shan who chose to follow Long Fei, no one else followed. Long Fei also did not continue and said, I hope that you all will be able to leave this place safely." And then Long Fei said, "Let's go." His speed increased, and he quickly ran out. Dao Ba and He Shan followed closely behind. Dao Ba asked, "Master, what should we do?" "That is an ancient gold corpse. Manager Chen must value it so highly. It must be a top-quality treasure. Don't tell me we—" He did not continue. The He Shan also followed. "Wealth comes from danger. We hid in the desert for a few years and ate sand for a few years. If we could get this ancient gold corpse, we wouldn't have to be here anymore." Long Fei did not make his position known. Moreover, he still hadn't seen the ancient gold corpse. What was it? He wasn't sure either. Rumble! Suddenly, a black chi shot up into the sky, followed by an arrogant saber chi. With a slash, a black crack appeared in the sky. Boom! It was as if space itself had been cut apart. Long Fei's face sank. The dragon salure in his hand started to tremble excitedly. What a strong blade force! The man with the box on his back is making his move. This is the second time I've seen him do it. The look in He Shan's eyes changed as well. The entire valley was filled with the aura of blades. This was an aura that could freeze a person's heart. Very strong. It was like a godly weapon that had remained silent for tens of thousands of years, unstoppable and unstoppable. As the saber chi descended, a few black shadows jumped and flashed as they charged towards one direction. "It's right in front." He Shan shouted. Long Fei said, "You all should be more careful, and watch what happens first. Don't make a move in a hurry." At this moment, out of Steward Chen's group of 16 guards, only 4 were left. Manager Chen's own chest had been cut by a saber chi, and his face was pale. Opposite them, that middle-aged man held a long saber shaped like the Azure Dragon's crescent moon. The tip of the blade was dripping with blood, and there were also a few heavy wounds on his body. The goods on the carriage behind him stopped there quietly. Chief Steward Chen frowned and asked, "Why?" The Black Knife uncle coldly replied, "There's no reason why." Chief Steward Chen said coldly, "I've brought you well. If I hadn't saved your life, you would have died in the desert. That's why I worked hard for you for 7 years. During these 7 years, I saved you 13 times and paid you 13 lives with my life. I don't owe you anything." Manager Chen clenched his fists and said, "Black Knife, do you know who this thing is sent to? As long as you touch it, you will be hunted down endlessly. I advise you to stop." The Black Knife said slightly, "Stop." A bitter smile appeared on his face as he said, "There is no chance." Manager Chen stared at the Black Knife and said, "Must we fight? Bring it on." The great black knife in the Black Knife's hand moved, and its aura instantly merged with the blade aura. It was extremely strong, incomparably strong. One with the saber. This uncle was way too powerful. Chapter 795, Giant Demon Attack. Chapter 795, Giant Demon Attack. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk Manager Chen, along with the 4 bodyguards, moved out. The 5 of them split into 5 different directions and headed towards the Black Knife. The great Black Knife in Black Knife Uncle's hands started to burn. The flames on his body also started to burn. The moment one of the guards approached him, his eyes stared wide. Boom! The aura around his body exploded, and he swung his blade down in an ordinary manner. At this moment, Long Fei's gaze tightened as his heart began to boil. What a powerful move, such powerful strength, such powerful blade aura. Holy **T. This kind of strength that didn't seem to exist at all, this kind of blade technique that didn't seem to be magnificent, actually burst out with incomparable power in his hands. Just like how Wang Qingshan practiced the sword drawing arts. 10,000 times, 100,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Ever since he entered the College of War Martial Arts and became the disciple of great sword master Aoya, he had been practicing the sword-drawing arts repeatedly every day. Thus, the speed at which he attacked was as fast as lightning, and this uncle was even more terrifying. He had probably practiced this ordinary saber technique tens of millions of times. Even from the moment he grasped the saber, he had been practicing this saber technique. Day after day, year after year, there was no change at all. Long Fei thought to himself, "He's so strong. Why isn't he one of my 8 great King Kongs, arrogant knife King Kong?" No reason. Looking at Black Knife Uncle, Long Fei started to love her talent. He felt very strange. Why didn't the system sound out the notification? Why didn't it trigger the 8 great diamond missions? He didn't understand. Could it be that a stronger, arrogant knife King Kong appeared? Or was it because he had not completed the Sword Force King Kong quest and was unable to trigger a new mission? Boom! One of the guards was killed. Black Knife Uncle did not have to stop at all. His blade aimed straight at Luo Yu. He swept out. He also forced 2 guards to retreat. However, at this moment, Manager Chen's trident sword heavily stabbed into his back. "Be careful!" Long Fei could not help but shout out. However, Black Knife Uncle acted as if he did not hear anything. He waved his long blade and cut the second guard into 2. However, his lower back was struck by a sword, causing him to bleed profusely. His body sank down as well. Manager Chen took a step forward, his eyes dark and cold. His fist erupted with a burst of fierce energy, striking towards Black Knife Uncle's head. Die! Too fast. Moreover, Manager Chen's technique was too ruthless. That one strike just now was only a bait. The real injury was from this fist, with one punch hitting Black Knife Uncle. He was dead for sure. The fist was getting closer and closer to the Black Knife's head. Chief Steward Chen was also excited. "Black Knife, go and die for me." Ha ha ha. Long Fei's heart skipped a beat. Under this kind of situation, no one would be able to resist. The Black Knife Uncle was finished. But, unexpectedly, the Black Knife did not move, but his blade was gone. The sky. Dao Ba's eyes turned cold. "Blade Spirit!" A streak of black lightning shot down from the sky and directly pierced through Manager Chen's body. Crack! Buffed! Supervisor Chen's face still had a proud smile, but his mind and consciousness had already been cut apart by the Black Knife, and a long blade was staring at him from the floor. "I'll rub it." "This blade is too sharp." Long Fei looked at the Black Knife. "Is this the Blade Spirit?" It's completely controlled by the Blade Master's heart and can explode with a ton of damage at a critical moment. Terrifying. Black Knife Uncle slowly stood up and pulled out the big black knife from Steward Chen's body. His gaze darkened as he looked at the 2 guards who were still in a daze. His body flashed. He raised his blade, and a head fell. 2 guards were killed in an instant. Cough, cough, cough. Buffed. Black Knife Uncle's body also sunk, and he knelt on one knee on the ground, crazily coughing up black blood. His face was completely pale, and he stared at Long Fei and the other 2. His battle intent was still burning. Supporting the Black Knife, he said lightly, "Come." It was also at this time. Shwa, shwa. For figures descended. All of them were masked and dressed in black attire. Looking at the surrounding dead Steward Chen and the 16 guards, the leading man walked over to the Black Knife and smiled. "Black Knife, you did well." Black Knife said slightly, "Where's my daughter?" The masked man laughed. At this moment, the aura on his body suddenly burst forth, forming a material-like ferocious beast. Demon Beast Immortal Root. In an instant, the ferocious beast crushed the Black Knife, and the man pierced through the Black Knife body with his sword, laughing sinisterly. "Your daughter is waiting for you in the underworld." The black knife's eyes stared fiercely, not because of the pain, but because he had heard a piece of news he did not want to hear the most. His heart felt like it had just died. He collapsed to the ground on his knees, his eyes lifeless. Everything happened too quickly. Long Fei had thought that the black knife was with these people, but he never thought that such a thing would actually happen. Furthermore, based on what he heard from the black knife uncle, it seemed like his daughter was captured. His daughter was his only hope of survival. It was the warmest place in his heart. However, now that his daughter was gone, his heart felt broken. It was very hard. It was as though he was dead. His battle intent instantly disappeared and was replaced by a destitute uncle with a stubble on his beard and disheveled hair. He looked just like a street drunkard. It was also at this time Long Fei's heart sank and his fists clenched tightly. Yan Huang ancestor said, "He's not dead yet. There's still hope." A trace of hope rose in Long Fei's heart. He stepped forward heavily and said, "Now, it's our turn to go up on stage." At this moment, Long Fei's fighting spirit instantly ignited. Dao Ba and Heishan also walked up at the same time. A man walked up with a trace of coldness in his eyes. "Big brother, what should we do with the three of them?" The man in the lead said coldly, "Kill." Finished. He walked to the side of the carriage and looked at the item with excitement in his eyes. Ancient gold corpse. Ha ha. "He's mine now." Before he could finish, boom. A loud sound rang out as a man was sent flying by a powerful force that knocked over the carriage. At this moment, devil flames soared into the sky. The powerful aura of the mass had a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. It was an incomparably powerful existence. At this moment, the face of the heavenly hall of immortals tightened. Another giant demon breaking through the seal? He could feel the incomparably strong demonic energy. The entire outer space palace was shaken. Dozens of elders flew into the hall of immortals. Because the devil flame this time was extraordinary, it was stronger than any of the giant demons from the breaking through the seal. It was even more terrifying than the devilish energy emitted from the bodies of the millions of years old giant demons of the seal. At this moment, within the gorge, a giant demon quietly stood beside Long Fei. Long Fei stared at the three men in black and said coldly, "Old devil gravity, kill them." Chapter 796, Wild's Family. Chapter 796, Wild's family gravity troll S that unlocked 800 seal chains. Demonic flames soared to the sky. His entire body was filled with an unparalleled power. It was extremely terrifying. The entire Shili desert was shaking. At the same time, all the demon beasts in the desert were madly gathering. "Kill them all," Long Fei ordered, and immediately rushed towards Heishan's uncle. The gravity troll shouted, "Understood, master." Bam! Taking a step forward, a loud sound rang out. The stones beneath his feet flew up into the air, unable to withstand the gravity released from his body. Bang, bang, bang. He continued to step forward. All of the surrounding shattered rocks were lifted up into the air. The gravity troll stretched out his right arm, and all of the shattered stones were crazily sucked into his arm. Boom, boom, boom. His arm grew bigger, thicker, and he smashed down heavily on a person. Crack! The black-clothed warrior didn't have any time to react at all. His hands were crossed in front of his chest, but he was sent flying. His heart was shattered, and he slammed into the stone wall, turning into a pile of flesh. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Desolate Spirit Guard, for obtaining 3,000 experience, 200 power of celestial, and 10 energy values. Huangling Guard, the Huang Spirit Clan, ancient family of the gods' martial continent, the desolate spirit race that placed 30th in the super families. Long Fei's heart trembled. When he saw the words guards for the desolate spirit, he immediately thought of the Wilds family. In the Secret History Pavilion, he had a rough understanding of the 100 great families. This was something that Wilds family knew especially well. They were specialized in tomb robbing. They specialized in stealing the tombs of those powerful warriors, obtaining great power from corpses, or stealing the secret treasures in tombs. Judging from their black clothes, they probably didn't want anyone to recognize them, and didn't want anyone to recognize them. Naturally, it was Steward Chun and the others. From this deduction, Supervisor Chin should also be someone from the Wilds family. It was just that there were some contradictions within the Wilds family. Long Fei thought, seems like not every aristocratic family has been united to the outside world. And then, bam, another Huang spirit guard was crushed by the gravity troll. Only the man in the lead remained. The man's eyes revealed fear. He stared at Long Fei and asked, "Who exactly are you?" It was also at this time Long Fei looked at the man and asked, "I will ask you 3 questions. If you answer well, I will let you go. If I don't answer well, you will be like the other 3. 1. Where did you steal this ancient gold corpse from?" Without waiting for the man to speak, Long Fei reminded him and said, "You better consider this carefully, because my methods are much more ruthless than you can imagine." The man's eyes flickered. He looked at his junior brother who had been turned into meat paste, then looked at the incomparably huge gravity troll. He felt an unprecedented pressure and said, "The mountain range of Calamity." Long Fei was a little unfamiliar with this place. This was the first time he had heard of it. The man said, "The place where the storm struck millions of years ago." The place where the catastrophe struck millions of years ago. Long Fei's heart tightened, and he thought to himself, is it really related to the dragon race? And then Long Fei asked, "How do I open the 3 boundaries restrictions on the ancient gold corpse?" The man's expression also changed. He didn't think that Long Fei would actually know that there were 3 boundaries imprisoned on the ancient gold corpse. Long Fei continued to ask, "What is your identity?" The man's eyes did not move as he said, "Wild mountain bandits." "I've answered all 3 questions. Can you let me go now?" The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, gently smiled, and said, "I can't. God's martial continent doesn't even have a place like the Calamity Mountain. You're lying. You said that you don't know how to open the boundary, and you're lying, too. You are a disciple of the Wilds family. Your position should not be low, at least at the elder level. Am I right?" Long Fei looked at him like he was about to eat a man. The man's expression changed drastically. His heart was incomparably shocked. He didn't care about anything else, but in the end, his identity was seen through. Daoba whispered, "Master, what is the Wilds family? I have never heard of this family's name in this desert for many years." Heishan was also confused. The man also smiled and said, "You must have gotten it wrong, right?" Long Fei said, "Wilds family, ancient family, was once the 30th place in the god's martial continent's family. He specialized in stealing the graves of the strong for a living. Which tomb did you steal this ancient gold corpse from? Am I right?" The Wilds family had disappeared for even longer than the Pangu family. The man was incomparably shocked as he stared at Long Fei and asked, "Who exactly are you? What is your purpose?" Long Fei laughed indifferently. "Who I am is not important, and my goal is also not important. I'm just asking you, do you want to leave this place alive?" The gravity troll hugged him with 2 fists. Boom! The powerful force of gravity almost crushed the man's heart. The man's mental defenses crumbled as he said, "Yes." Long Fei said, "Let me ask you, is this uncle's daughter alive or dead?" The man said, "He's still alive in Wild Mountain City." "All right, you can leave here alive." Long Fei secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The man lightly leaped. In that instant, the gravity troll swatted down on the man with a palm as if it was swatting a fly. The man was instantly slapped away. Bang on the ground, he stared at Long Fei and asked, "You said you would let me go. Why?" Long Fei laughed sinisterly. "I'm letting you go. I didn't do anything. The one who did it is him. What can I do if he doesn't let you go? You should just die in peace." Bam! The gravity troll's fist smashed into his head. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wild Spirit Guard Leader for obtaining 10,000 experience points, 300 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the secret skill Gold Reaching Acupoint Charging. You wish to cultivate it? Long Fei's heart trembled. Damn, this is the time to steal a tomb? Cultivate. It's useless not to refine it. It's not like there's anything lacking anyway. Long Fei did not let go of any skills. Furthermore, who knew when this dividing golden sting would come in handy? The 4 Huang spirit guards were all eliminated. Heishan and Dao Ba were completely shocked. It was also at this time, when the time for the gravity troll to appear came to an end, he muttered in dissatisfaction, "It's not good enough. It wasn't fun at all. 1 punch, 1 kill." A gravity troll who had comprehended 800 CLS was now comparable to a profound practitioner of the Yuan Xian realm. How many could be enough for 2 of his moves? Long Fei walked to the side of the Black Knife uncle and whispered, "Uncle, you heard earlier, your daughter is still alive." Hearing these words, Black Knife uncle's eyes immediately opened as if he was revived. Chapter 797, Giant Spatial Coffin. Chapter 797, Giant Spatial Coffin, Buzz. Boom! The fighting intent on his body ignited once again, and he instantly grabbed onto the great black knife. His aura and the aura of the saber merged into one. He was currently in a soul-searching state and was completely muddled. It was because he was provoked by one of Long Fei's words that he suddenly woke up. Long Fei moved his body and sent a sound transmission to the black knife's brain. "Uncle, you are currently severely injured. If you want to see your daughter, then withdraw your fighting spirit and swallow my healing pill. Otherwise, you will never see your daughter again in this life." As soon as his voice faded, half a second later, the black knife retracted its chi and fainted on the ground. Long Fei immediately rushed forward and said to Dao Ba, "Hold him." Long Fei poured a healing pellet into the black knife's body. After catalyzing it with his palm, the blood on the wound stopped flowing a little and his entire body finally calmed down. "Humph! What exactly are you carrying on your back?" Long Fei secretly tensed up. Heishan slightly said, "Young Master Long, this black knife is too scary. It's too dangerous to stay by my side." The power that he unleashed was simply too terrifying. The scene of how he killed Chief Steward Chun. Moreover, his saber techniques were all sabers with the intent to kill. It was a suicidal tactic. This kind of person could be as silent as a rock. Once they erupted, it would be like a volcano erupting, an unstoppable force. Long Fei said, "I want to keep him." He was still thinking about the matter of Arrogant Knife King Kong. If he could, Long Fei really wanted to take the black knife in as his Arrogant Knife King Kong. However, the system did not seem to hear a notification sound at all. Long Fei felt that the mission of Ao Ya's Sword Force King Kong was not completed yet, so he was unable to trigger the second mission. What if it was his Arrogant Knife King Kong? If he died, where would he find such a tyrannical Arrogant Knife King Kong? Dao Ba asked, "Master, what should we do now?" If it's really as you said, then these people are from the Wilds family, then we definitely cannot offend such a super family. Dao Ba started to worry. Ancient family had been subdued for millions of years. Who could compare to him? Moreover, The Wilds family stole tombs. How many tombs of the strong did they steal? How much essence energy had they absorbed from these experts? They were definitely powerful, untouchable existences. There were only 3 of them, so they should have stayed away. Long Fei did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked at the system. The system's escort mission was still ongoing, and it did not fail just because of Manager Chen's death. If the mission is still ongoing, then go and finish it, and just take it as preparation for the future arrogant knife King Kong. Long Fei looked at the fainted black knife. We must find his daughter. And then Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly and said, "Go to Wild Mountain City." Dao Ba and Heishan shuddered. Since they were following Long Fei, they would follow the decision he made. Their eyes became determined. However, Long Fei looked at the large carriage and said slightly, "Before I go to Wild Mountain City, I have to take a good look at what kind of ancient gold corpse is inside." The 2 of them were startled as well. They also wanted to know what exactly an ancient gold corpse was. Long Fei walked to the side of the carriage and untied the ropes. The tarpaulin also fell to the ground. The 3 of them revealed a shocked expression. Under the tarpaulin was a huge coffin made of a special material. The top of the coffin was carved with all sorts of strange runes. He couldn't understand it at all. Yan Huang Ancestor was also secretly shocked. Just this coffin is a pretty good immortal stage divine equipment. Long Fei stepped forward. Buzz. Without waiting for him to stand on the coffin, a powerful force had shot him out. The force was extremely dense, and it did not give Long Fei any time to react. Boom! The power of the boundary. Long Fei tried again, and was sent flying again. Attempting. The result was the same. He was sent flying in the blink of an eye. Long Fei's heart sank as he asked, "Ancestor, is there a way?" When Long Fei tried to open the coffin, Yan Huang Ancestor had been deep in thought. He was the same as Long Fei. He also wanted to know what kind of ancient gold corpse it was. Thus, his aura was constantly probing, trying to find a way to break the seal on the coffin's boundary. However, no, 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 no. Yan Huang Ancestor said, "The boundary on top of the coffin is a special kind of boundary. It is not created by humans, but is brought by spirit treasures. And if this kind of boundary cannot find the entrance, then it is very difficult to break through. Also, the boundary on top of the coffin is only one of them, and there are 2 other boundaries on top of it. It is this coffin, and it is not as simple as a normal coffin." Yan Huang said slowly. Long Fei was extremely shocked and said, "Spatial coffin? Are you saying that the space inside is very large? Could it be that all of them are soul treasures?" Wow, what the F asterisk CK. This is the tempo of the heavens. Ha ha ha. Long Fei could not help but become excited. He could not control his emotions and said, "If a small space ring could actually store an item as big as a container, how many things would it be if it was such a huge coffin space?" Long Fei's eyes lit up. He needed money. Very, very much. He needed to train his ghost soldiers. If the coffin was filled with soul treasures, it would be the tempo of the heavens, and he wouldn't have to worry about money anymore. Moreover, the coffin space shocked Long Fei too much. Long Fei said to the Yan Huang Ancestor, "Are you unable to open it?" Yan Huang Ancestor shook his head. "There's no other way for now. I need time. If the 3 boundaries are all like this, I need a year's time." It was basically impossible to solve this kind of boundary. To be able to use a year to break through the 3rd level of boundary, that was already an incredible existence. Long Fei slightly said, "Seems like Wild Mountain City has to go." If Wild's family is really as you have said, then they should know how to open the third level of boundary. However, Brat, I have to remind you something. If it really is an ancient gold corpse, then he is not someone you can easily control. You must be careful. Long Fei replied, Amen, I've remembered it. And then Long Fei told Daoba, Get ready, let's go to Wild Mountain City. Wild Mountain City, a small city with a population of around 2 million. This was the main body of the Wilds family. However, no one outside knew. The outside world thought that the people of the Wilds family had all been killed by the Long family because at the peak of the Long family's power, something big happened. Wild's family stole the dragon's necropolis. Long family attacked Wild's family with lightning speed. Wild's family had disappeared without a trace since then and had never appeared again. The Wild's family and the Long family are irreconcilable. Chapter 798, Black Knife is about to die. Chapter 798, Black Knife is about to die. Wild Mountain City, Huangling Family Manor. In the first elder's courtyard, trash, a bunch of trash. Great clan elder Zhang Qiqian's face was filled with anger. Looking at the people in the hall, he even had the urge to kill someone. It was a perfect plan, but in the end, he still failed. This caused him to be incomparably furious. The Wilds family's Zhang family had been subdued in the Wild Mountain City for hundreds of thousands of years. He did not want to spend his entire life in this small city near the border of the desert. He was going to get out of here. He had waited for a full 10 years for this opportunity. Ancient gold corpse. This was the Zhang family using the power of 3 generations, time and time again excavating, time and time again taking risks, and finally in their generation, they were able to ship all of the ancient gold corpse out. As long as he could fuse with an ancient gold corpse or control one, he would become the #1 person in the entire Wilds family. He would be able to walk out of this place and compete for hegemony in the wider heaven and earth. Even he could wash away his shame and take revenge on the Long family. He did not understand why his ancestors told them to always hide and not make enemies with the Long family. They were originally a super family with unparalleled power and were suppressed by the Long family just because they stole the dragon's tomb. Why? Was the dragon tomb the ancestor of his Long family? What qualifications does the Long family have to suppress them? Since it was a suppression, then why did the ancestors forbid them to take revenge at that time? Zhang Qiqian could not understand. He was an ambitious person, and one that was extremely strong in combat. He had waited for 10 years. He definitely wouldn't let go of this opportunity. A man said, Big brother, a powerful devil intent exploded out of Sunset Valley. Could it be that Western Devil Lord has interfered? Impossible. Zhang Qiqian immediately denied it and said, Other than us, the Desolate Spirit clan, no one else knows about the ancient gold corpse. There is no way that anyone in our clan would want the Western Devil Lord to leak any information. Besides, the Western regions is tens of millions of kilometers away from here. It's impossible to reach there in such a short period of time. The man said, That is because the devil fire inside the Sunset Valley is stronger than those million-year-old giant devils from the breaking through the seal. Big brother, the Western Devil Lord is still recovering. Maybe he has his eyes on this ancient gold corpse too? I have to be on guard. Zhang Qiqian frowned, and just as he said, he continued, What if it's someone from the Western Devil Lord? He pondered for a moment. Zhang Qiqian slightly said, No matter who he is, this ancient gold corpse is mine. If anyone dares to snatch it from me, I will definitely not let them go. Where are they now? Another man said, The people closest to the Dawn Shroud Valley are the Wild Mountain City. If they don't want to die in the desert, they can only come here. It's their only choice. No water. No matter how powerful a person was, they wouldn't be able to survive in the desert for long. If they went back the way they came, it would take even longer and be filled with danger. Long Fei and the others had no other way. They could only enter the wild mountain city. Zhang Qiqian's brows relaxed a little, and he said, "Immediately go and investigate. I want to know everything about them." "There's more. Is the daughter of the Black Knife still alive? Bring her close to the Zhang residence." "Yes, what's the situation with eldest miss?" A man said, "The young miss is definitely more anxious than us. If we are unable to transport the ancient gold corpse safely into the Zhang residence, then this time she will make a mistake and she will not be able to hold it." Zhang Qiqian's lips curled up as he smiled, faintly. "I want not only the position of patriarch, but also the ancient gold corpse. I want to lead the ancient spirit race to rise again and once again stand at the peak of this world. I want to let everyone see us Wild's family are the true rulers." Ha ha ha. Zhang Qiqian laughed wildly. Elsewhere in the Zhang residence, in the courtyard of the patriarch, one of them was in his early 20s with a resolute expression. His brows were tightly knitted, and his eyes held a trace of worry and pain. "Uncle Chun and the others have all fallen. The convoy disappeared into the desert. Miss, there are still 5 days until the family meeting. If we cannot transport the ancient gold corpse to the Zhang residence within the next 5 days, the first elder will definitely make things difficult for you." A maidservant slowly said, "Zhang Xinyue, the current patriarch of Wild's family, after taking over the position of father, and taking over for a month, the test of her family was to transport ancient gold corpse S. She had sent her father's favorite Uncle Chen, and he was the only person she could trust. However, he had just heard the grievous news. Uncle Chen and his 16 guards had all died in the setting Sun Valley. The ancient gold corpse disappeared. The convoy disappeared. As for her, she still had 5 days. If she was unable to bring the ancient gold corpse to the desolate spirit family within the next 5 days, her position of patriarch would be removed. She didn't want to be the patriarch in the first place. However, if Zhang Qiqian managed to become patriarch, he would definitely lead his clansmen out of Wild Mountain City against the teachings of his ancestors and walk down a road of no return, the path of destruction. For the sake of the family, for the sake of her father's will, she could not allow the family to be destroyed. Zhang Xinyue looked at the servant girl and said, "Uncle Chen is dead. I don't have anyone by my side that can use it, and I can't leave either. I can only rely on you." Orchid was startled. "Miss, what can I do for you?" Zhang Xinyue said, "If the water source in the Sunset Valley is broken, then they must be heading towards the Wild Mountain City." "We know. Zhang Qiqian knows too. Zhang Qiqian must be planning to prevent ancient gold corpse from entering the Wild Mountain City. His goal is to fuse with ancient gold corpse. So I want you to find them before they do, so we can have the initiative." Orchid did not understand. "Miss, how do we find them first? Who are they? I don't know him at all." There were a lot of roads to the Wild Mountain City, so they did not know who had the ancient gold corpse at all. Zhang Qiqian did not know either. They were at the same starting line. This was also the advantage of the only Zhang Xinyue. Zhang Xinyue took out a small bottle from his chest pocket and said, "There are 10 dew pills here. Use it anywhere on the road back in Setting Sun Valley that we are both Wild Mountain City." He had to take a gamble. Orchid took the bottle. "Miss, are you sure they will look for water?" Zhang Xinyue shook his head and said, "I don't know, but we can only think about it this way. We only have a slim chance of survival if we find the ancient gold corpse first. Miss, I will definitely find them." And then there was Long Fei. Yellow sand filled the sky. His lips were dry and white. Their faces were split by the scorching heat. Long Fei pulled the carriage by himself, while Dao Ba and He Shan pushed the carriage. Master, we can't hold on any longer. Wild Mountain City is still 2 days away. We don't have any water, so we can't hold on much longer. The Black Knife Uncle is about to fall. Chapter 799, The Explosion of the Goddess Tear. Chapter 799, The Explosion of the Goddess Tear. The Black Knife was severely injured and lost a lot of blood. All along the way, Long Fei had given him all of his water, but it was far from enough. He was badly dehydrated. In addition to the festering wounds, ordinary healing pills were no longer able to control his injuries. Long Fei frowned as he looked through the system to see the amount of blood on the Black Knife's head. There's only about 200 points left, and it's still falling. I really can't hold on any longer. Long Fei thought, Ancestor, do you have a way? Yen Huang Ancestor replied, Yes, but it's very dangerous. Long Fei said, At a time like this, there's no need to worry so much. Yen Huang Ancestor said, Possession of the Yin soldiers temporarily protect his heart veins, but we need to find a water source within a day. Otherwise, he will instantly collapse. They were still 2 days away from the Wild Mountain City. No matter how fast they were, they wouldn't be able to make it in a day. However, if he didn't give the Black Knife time, within 2 hours, he would die. Long Fei's brows tightened and said, All right. Long Fei stopped and walked to the side of the Black Knife, and the idea moved and entered its sea of consciousness. Uncle, if you can't hold on, I will use the Yin Soldier Great Art to protect your heart veins, but it will only protect you for a day. Whether or not you can survive after a day, it will all depend on your own perseverance. If you hear me, please respond. The Black Knife grabbed Long Fei's arm tightly. Long Fei said, I understand. Ancestor, I'll leave this matter to you. Following that, the Yen Huang Ancestor's idea moved and controlled the Yellow Springs summoning seal, summoning one of the ghost soldiers out, and the seal was inside the Black Knife's body. He channeled some of his power into the Black Knife. The Black Knife's expression recovered quite a bit. Its breathing calmed down, and it was no longer as dying as before. After doing all this, Long Fei looked at Dao Ba and the He Shan and said, All of you get on the carriage and rest well afterwards. Dao Ba looked at Long Fei and said, Master, this huge sarcophagus is incredibly heavy. If you pull it by yourself, you might expend too much energy, and your body won't be able to take it. Long Fei said, Listen to me, get in the car. Hurry up. If he stayed longer, even a second would be dangerous. Long Fei was already in a dire situation, not because of a powerful enemy. It was because of the strong weather. Long Fei looked at the sky and bellowed, So what if it's the sky? So what? You want to block me? In the next life. Level 5, unparalleled. Explode. Boom. With the energy in his body surging, Long Fei held onto the carriage with both hands and shouted, He charged out like a madman. Buzz. The metal dragon's power was released uncontrollably. Power poured in. Long Fei's strength increased even more. From afar, it looked like a small sandstorm was rapidly moving. 1 hour. Long Fei persevered. The power in his body ignited. Once the cooldown time for the unparalleled skill ended, it would activate immediately. 2 hours passed. Long Fei was the same. 3, 4, 5, 6 hours passed. Long Fei was like an unceasingly spinning engine. He did not know how long he could last, but he knew that he had to persevere on. He had to. Dao Ba and He Shan followed him. He wanted to bring them out of this desert alive. The Black Knife could be the arrogant knife King Kong. Even if it wasn't, this kind of sharp uncle, Long Fei could not let him die. So easily he could not die. In here. What kind of golden corpse was in the huge space coffin? Long Fei also wanted to know. Live. You must survive. Long Fei's will was incredibly firm, and the power within his body also unceasingly surged. As he crazily charged forward, it was as if his entire body was standing in a furnace. His entire body was tanned, and his skin was cracked. Ding! System notification. The player's health point is dropping. Please supplement. Ding! System notification. The player's health point is dropping. Please supplement. Long Fei swallowed a few pills. However, the system beeped again a few minutes later. It was not that the pills were useless, but rather that what he needed now was not the pills, but rather rest and water. His body was already severely dehydrated. If this continued, his body would collapse. Kid, Yen, Huang ancestor, didn't know what to say. The Azure Dragon ancestor. And the others also didn't know what to say. However, they felt even more respect for Long Fei in their hearts. With such perseverance, being able to give their all for their brother, their hearts were incomparably moved. Ah! Ah! Yellow sand filled the sky. Long Fei's throat burned even more fiercely as he roared. No one can stop me, not even the old heavenly emperor. The heavens and the earth will all be trampled under my feet. At this moment, Dao Ba and Heishan also fainted because of dehydration. Among the group of four, only Long Fei remained. However, his pace also slowed down. Too tired, an indescribable tiredness. Still, he moved forward step by step. His steps were as firm as ever. Suddenly, drip, 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 drip. The sound of raindrops falling resounded in Long Fei's mind. At the same time, the water in his body slowly returned to normal. It was very special. This feeling was very comfortable, an indescribable feeling of comfort. It was just that. Long Fei was unable to feel it. He had fallen into a state of numbness after going insane, and was just like a living dead person constantly walking forward. Yen, Huang ancestor, couldn't feel it either, because even he couldn't feel the power of the rain. At this moment, amongst Long Fei's space ring, the goddess tear that was brought out from the snow domain seemed to possess a life of its own as it continuously released water sources to supply Long Fei's body. One drop, every single drop was like a spring of life, waking Long Fei up. This process lasted about 10 minutes. The goddess tear then quieted down. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes widened in shock. The last 10 minutes seemed like a dream as he looked at the stars in the sky and whispered, "Who are you?" He really wanted to know. In the snow region, he already felt that goddess tear was incomparably amiable. He wanted to know just who she was. No one responded. Yen Huang ancestor trembled slightly and said, "Your body has recovered to its peak condition. What happened just now?" Long Fei did not say. He raised his head to look at the sky full of stars, murmuring, "No matter who you are, I'll definitely find you." And then Long Fei locked onto the wild mountain city's direction. His eyes darkened as he roared, "Come, let the small universe erupt." Boom. Level 5 unparalleled. Open. Long Fei fell into madness once again. His steps felt like they were flying. Right now, there was only 5 hours of time left to the day's limit, so Long Fei had to feel Wild Mountain City within these 5 hours. He had to hurry. Chapter 800 Deadlines for Mandates. Chapter 800 Deadlines for Mandates. Early morning. Wild Mountain City, North Gate. Because Long Fei was a little lost after circling half a circle, he originally went through the southern gate to enter the Wild Mountain City, but went in through the northern gate. Yi Zichen walked into a normal hotel in the north gate. He left the carriage in the backyard and left the sarcophagus behind. No one could steal it. On the sarcophagus, the Yen Huang ancestor had set up one boundary, which was 4 of them. After bringing the 3 of them onto the bed, Long Fei carefully fed them a little of the water he found, allowing their bodies to fully absorb the water. Following that, Long Fei spent a fairy stones and asked the waiter to buy some of the spirit grass that he wanted. Using green dragon tripod S to refine 3 healing pellets specially made by Long Fei, which were healing pellets with water as the main attribute, the pills were injected into their bodies. A few minutes later, Dao Ba and Heishan's breathing finally stabilized. Long Fei looked at the black knife uncle whose wound was festering, and the idea sank into a sea of consciousness. Uncle, I will take back all the energy in your body. You must persevere and endure. Finished. Yen Huang ancestor moved and summoned his Yin soldier. The black knife's body suddenly twitched, and fresh blood spurted out of its wound. Will they die in the desert? Its face was as white as paper, another elder said, and it looked even if the as if it was about to die. Super strong warriors do not Long have water. Fei's heart sank. They will not be able to leave. Uncle, you must endure. It is very possible that they will die in the desert. If he did not die, he would have already rushed to Wild Marshall Continent on the day it was impossible for them to not know. Gathered. We should act tough together. As he asked, "You have What's the situation with little girl Black Knife?" As were much more tenacious than the maid servants she sent out also returned half a minute. He was able to stabilize himself. Relaxed a little as he asked, ancestor. How much time do we have left to send people to Setting Sun Valley? This man's willpower is the most tenacious one out of all the people I have ever seen. Zhang Qiqian calculated the time. Tomorrow is the 4th day, and the day after tomorrow is the family meeting. His tensed nerves, even though there are no ancient gold and his whole body collapsed. But from the moment he entered the city until now, you probably want to obtain not the ancient for even half a second, right? Not even drank a single drop of Wild's family first. The moment he saw them without the whereabouts of the ancient Long Fei's body loosened up, he could only put it aside. The person fell into the bathtub. The focus was on how to rest for a bit. Rid of Zhang Xinyu. The bathtub was filled with all kinds of spirit grass and medicine. Without the ancient gold corpse, Long Fei the power of the dragon's body inside the dragon's body. He slept like this for 2 days, the Wild's and 2 nights to the peak of perfection. In the desolate there is no tomb in this world that can stop Wild's family. Did they disappear into thin air? No, there's only one way into the Sunset Valley, into the Wild Mountain City. They were professionals. They won't be able to return. It was exactly their water source had said. Can't last Zhang Xinyu was a man anxious. Big brother, it's been Orchid's 3 days. Face was dark as they haven't appeared. I'm sorry, miss, but I'm useless. Zhang Xinyu shook his head and said, "You've already helped me a lot. Right now, the only thing that we can rejoice of is that Zhang Qiqian also did not obtain the ancient gold corpse," Orchid said. "But, miss, the day after tomorrow is the family meeting. Zhang Qiqian will definitely use your failure as an article. He will definitely target you. I'm worried that he will join hands with the Elder Pavilion to remove you from the position of patriarch." Zhang Xinyue's eyes trembled a little. As a woman, the pressure on her was simply too great. Zhang Xinyue clenched both his fists tightly and said, "There is still a day's time left tomorrow. I will definitely spare no effort to convince the Elder Pavilion to stand on my side. Even if you want to remove my position of patriarch, you cannot let Zhang Qiqian become patriarch." She knew in her heart the ancient gold corpse was gone. However, Wild's family still had a secret. It was also a dragon body tomb that she had coincidentally discovered 6 million years ago. She was worried that Zhang Qiqian would activate the dragon body tomb again. In that case, would the pressure from the Long family descend once again? Zhang Xinyu was extremely worried in his heart. The dragon body tomb was the top secret of the Wild's family, and also the secret that the Wild's family guarded for 6 million years. 3 million years ago, the elders of the Wild's family wanted to steal the dragon's body tomb. But before they could succeed, they were suppressed by the Long family of the strongest families. From that time onwards, the Wild's family disappeared without a trace. Rumors had it that the Long family warriors had massacred the entire family overnight. Actually, the purpose of this rumor being released by the Long family was to forever keep the secret of the dragon body tomb. At that time, the current patriarch of the Wilds family had promised the Long family that his clansmen would never touch the grave. Time passed. The Long family was weak. Zhang Qiqian had taken a fancy to this point. Even if he stole the dragon body tomb, the Long family wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Long family had already fallen to a point where no one knew about it. This was also a chance for Wilds family. Compared to the unknown ancient gold corpse in Zhang Qiqian's heart, he valued the dragon body tomb more, because that was the body of the dragon clan's strongest warrior. If he could fuse that kind of power, no one could defeat him. This was also what Zhang Xinyu was most worried about. In a small hotel, Long Fei opened his eyes wide. Phew! He let out a deep breath. At this moment, Dao Ba and He Shan walked over. The two of them had already woken up yesterday, and when they saw Long Fei wake up, the two were incomparably shocked. Dao Ba's heart relaxed as he said, "Master, you are finally awake." Long Fei asked, "How long have I been asleep for?" Dao Ba said, 3 days and 2 nights. Huh. Long Fei's face slightly tilted to the side as he cried out in his heart. And then he immediately checked the system. The escort mission. Today is the deadline. If we don't finish it today, then we will really be blind. Chapter 801. Chapter 801 task reward is 1,000,000 experience points, and there's even a free celestial item lottery. How could it be so easily lost? Maybe Long Fei didn't care if he didn't come to Wild Mountain City. However, since they were already at the Wild Mountain City, why couldn't they complete this mission? No matter how small the mosquito leg was, it would still have meat. Moreover, he needed levels very badly right now. I haven't leveled up yet. After Long Fei finished eating, he asked the waiter if he wanted to hurry over to the desolate spirit family's residence. He also told Dao Ba and the He Shan to take good care of the black knife and not leave the hotel. The black knife had not woken up yet. His injuries were too severe, and there were many fatal ones. Can't wake up for 2 or 3 days. Long Fei looked at the countdown to the mission and thought to himself, hopefully I can make it in time. In the desolate spirit family's manner. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Zhang Xinyu, you want to fight me? Wanting to persuade the Elders' Pavilion? Don't you know that the elders in the Elders' Pavilion are all my people? Zhang Qiqian laughed complacently. Today, even though Zhang Xinyu had been persuading the elders in the pavilion for an entire day, it was completely useless. Long before her, Zhang Qiqian had already bought all the elders he wanted. The ancient gold corpse did not get, but he had to get the patriarch position of the Wilds family. Big brother, Zhang Xinyu will definitely lose tomorrow at the family meeting. Ha ha ha. Tomorrow, you will be the patriarch. Big brother, you didn't see how ugly that girl Zhang Xinyu's face was today. The elders in the elders' pavilion completely ignored her. A mere woman, many people wouldn't be satisfied with her becoming patriarch. How could a woman receive our Wilds family? What qualifications does she have? A few elders echoed. Indeed, it was exactly as they had said. A woman should be a virgin. She was born to be a man's partner. Why did she have to show her face when she came out? What was this? The corner of Zhang Qiqian's mouth curled up as he laughed coldly. Zhang Xinyu, tomorrow I will crush you into the ground and make you unable to crawl back up just like your dead father. Fight with me. Humph. The entire Wilds family is my man. How can you fight with me? Zhang Qiqian's face was filled with disdain. He was looking forward to tomorrow. This way, he would be able to restart the excavation of the dragon body tomb. As long as he could steal the dragon's tomb, he believed that he would be able to obtain even more powerful strength. Ha ha ha. No one can stop me. Zhang Qiqian laughed out wildly. Zhang Xinyue frowned. She spent the entire day at the elder pavilion, but not a single one of the elders listened to her. Even not a single one of the elders had ever wrapped their eyes on her before. Those elders' eyes were all filled with disdain and contempt. He looked down on her from the bottom of his heart. Wild's family was not convinced by her taking over the position of father, so they will definitely think of a way to pull her down from the position of patriarch. She didn't care. The one she wanted to stop was Zhang Qiqian. Orchid brought out a bowl of rice porridge and a stack of dishes. Miss, have some food. You haven't had anything to eat for the whole day. Zhang Xinyue waved his hand and said, I'm not hungry. She was in no mood to eat. If you don't eat, your body won't be able to take it. Zhang Xinyue did not say anything. Her mind was still constantly thinking of ways to stop Zhang Qiqian, but her head was about to explode, but she was still unable to think of anything. Zhang Xinyue looked up into the night sky and muttered, if only Uncle Chun was here, he would definitely be able to think of a way. Orchid, I'll go for a walk. Tomorrow was the family meeting, and also her last hope. No matter what, she would do her best. And then Zhang Xinyue walked out of the courtyard. Please inform the patriarch that I have something to discuss with him. At the entrance of the desolate spirit family's mansion, Long Fei was stopped by the 4 gatekeeping guards. A guard asked, Who do you think you are? Do you think you can meet the patriarch whenever you want to? Get lost. Brat, I'll talk to you again. Do you hear me? I'll tell you to scram, or else I'll be rude to you. The 4 guards were very arrogant. Just by looking at Long Fei's appearance, they could tell that he was not some rich person. His entire face was dark, as if he was a refugee. They knew all the famous people in Wild Mountain City. There was definitely no one like Long Fei. Long Fei slightly said, I really have something important to see your patriarch. This matter concerns the fate of your Wild's family. For sirs, please give me some face. Long Fei had already lowered himself. If it wasn't for the mission, and if someone dared to speak to him like that, he would have slapped them a long time ago. Give you face. Who the F*CK do you think you are? Why don't you take a piss? If I'm giving you face, I might as well give a dog face. The guard in the lead said with a disdainful laugh. Ha ha ha. The other 3 laughed. Long Fei's eyes darkened, his gaze filled with killing intent. It was also at this time. A middle-aged man walked out and asked coldly, What's going on? The 4 disciples immediately shook and said in unison, We greet the 5th elder. The middle-aged man walked over, looked at Long Fei, and asked, What happened? One of the gatekeepers said, This kid wants to see the patriarch. He said, He has something important to report. I can see that he isn't any good person. He definitely has other plans. Zhang Dadi then looked at Long Fei and said coldly, Tomorrow is the family meeting. No outsiders are allowed to enter the Zhang family. If anyone makes trouble again, I'll cripple them. The 4 men answered in unison, Yes. Zhang Dadi had just taken 2 steps when he turned around to look at Long Fei and said, What urgent matters do you have to report? Long Fei saw that there were no yellow exclamation marks on top of Zhang Dadi's head. This meant that he was not a person who could complete missions, and it was not possible for him to complete missions. Long Fei said, I will only report to your patriarch. Zhang Dadi's eyes turned sinister. He snorted and said, You dog, chase him out. If you want to fight back, break his legs. You still want to report to the patriarch. Right. Zhang Dadi seemed to have thought of something and said, Patriarch is not allowed to take even half a step outside the door tonight. Understand? Zhang Xinyue could not go out. She could not be given any chance to delay. The 4 disciples were startled and immediately replied, "Yes, sir." Following that, Zhang Dadi left with big strides. Long Fei heard what he said clearly and thought, looks like the patriarch's position isn't very high. Is there internal strife in the Wild's family? At this moment, the 4 guards rushed in front of Long Fei and shouted, "Kid, now immediately get the hell out of here. I said get lost." Chapter 802, Taking Away the First Kiss. Chapter 802, Taking Away the First Kiss. His aura was very ferocious. The corner of Long Fei's mouth twitched, and his figure blurred. An empty hand. Schwa. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for stealing fairy stones too. One of the guards felt a little uncomfortable, but he could not feel any discomfort at all. It was also at this moment Long Fei continuously shook, continuously attacked, and directly stole all the things on their bodies before stopping. He left as well. Half an hour later, "Do you feel strange about your body? Did you feel it too?" "I feel like I've been touched from head to toe." Suddenly, one of them said, "My purse is missing. My fairy stones has disappeared too. My Tier 1 immortal weapon is gone as well." The 4 of them went mad. Long Fei walked to the other side of the wall and muttered, "I have to go in. There's still half an hour until the mission is completed. If we don't complete it now, we'll really go blind." Long Fei did not care about the situation in the Wild's family. He just wanted to finish the mission. Just as he was thinking about this, there was some movement on the wall. It was impossible to see who they were clearly from the dark, but Long Fei knew that they were definitely human. Long Fei raised his eyes and asked, "Who is it?" Because of his shout, Zhang Xinyue, who was on the wall, jumped in shock. He slipped and directly fell off the wall, and before Long Fei could react, he pounced on him. Moreover, the 2 of them actually kissed. Everything had happened too suddenly. Zhang Xinyue could only jump out from the wall. Who knew that there was someone hiding under the wall? Wild's family was specialized in tomb robbing, so they avoided ghosts and gods. He was shocked. It was also because of this that he lost his footing and fell down. Ugh. Long Fei glared at him, and the reaction speed in his mind was extremely fast. "There's fragrance in my body, and my lips are very smooth. There are 2 balls of pressure on my chest, soft, soft. Overall, she should be a woman." Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. "Thank goodness you're not a man." But just as he was reacting, Zhang Xinyue had instantly sprung up and threw him down with his palm. "You scoundrel!" Long Fei lightly blocked with his right hand. Zhang Xinyue's arm slapped onto Long Fei's arm. It was so painful that he gasped for breath, and his left hand suddenly slapped down. Long Fei blocked with his right hand. Ah! It was blocked again. Long Fei looked at Zhang Xinyue, who was sitting in his death position, and said, "Miss, you are sitting in the wrong place. You are the female delinquent, right?" At this moment, Long Fei saw that floating above Zhang Xinyue's head. What did this symbol mean? This meant that the quest had either been triggered or had been handed over. Long Fei suddenly asked, "You're the patriarch of the Wild's family?" Zhang Xinyue looked at Long Fei and asked, "Who are you?" Long Fei said, "Who I am is not important. I want to ask you, should I hand over the ancient gold corpse to you?" Zhang Xinyue was startled, and his eyes narrowed. Only the Wild's family knew about the ancient gold corpse. Outsiders would definitely not know. If they did, it would definitely attract many experts from all over the place to fight for it. Zhang Xinyue's face sank and said, "Just who are you, the great clan elder's man?" Long Fei said, Don't ask these. I just want to ask if you want the ancient gold corpse. As long as there was a clan meeting tomorrow with the ancient gold corpse, Zhang Qiqian would not be able to find a reason to let her go. Therefore, the excavation of the dragon body tomb couldn't be started. Zhang Xinyu replied, "Yes." Long Fei replied, "That's enough." You get up first. I'm almost going to react if you sit like this." Long Fei slightly said. Zhang Xinyue's face was also flushed red. She had also clearly felt the changes in Long Fei's body. As soon as she spoke, she immediately stood up and said, "Explain it clearly. Why is the ancient gold corpse in your hands?" Long Fei looked at the system's countdown timer, grabbed Zhang Xinyue's hand, and said, "There's no time to explain. Follow me." After saying that, he rushed out. "Hurry, hurry, hurry up." Long Fei kept increasing his speed. Fortunately, it was night time, and there were no hindrances on the streets. Only then was his super sports car able to speed up like the wind and speed. Zhang Xinyue was pulled by Long Fei. This was the first time. It was the first time she let a man hold her hand, and moreover, it was the man who took away her first kiss. She didn't know where Long Fei was going to take her, but she didn't reject him in her heart. Maybe, deep in her heart, she longed for a man to take her away from here. Ding! There are only 3 minutes left in the countdown to the mission. Whew! Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh of relief, and finally brought Zhang Xinyue to the hotel's backyard. He pointed to the goods on the large carriage and said, "Ancient gold corpse." The backyard was filled with all sorts of junk. Zhang Xinyue looked at the large goods that were wrapped in oilcloth and was stunned for a moment. It's an ancient gold corpse. She had never seen it before. Time was still running out, and he still hadn't started completing the missions yet. Long Fei became a little mad and said, "You haven't even seen anything from your own house." Zhang Xinyue shook his head and said, "I have never seen ancient gold corpse before." Long Fei had no choice. He jumped up and untied the tarpaulin, revealing a huge stone coffin. He asked, "Do you understand now?" Ding! System notification. 10 seconds remain to complete the quest. 9, 8, 7. The system began to count down the seconds. Long Fei was about to go crazy. This Daddy's 1 million experience, my free celestial item lottery draw, is going to be tragic. He wanted to cry, but there were no tears. When there was only 1 second left in the countdown timer, Zhang Xinyue's eyes shook, and he immediately said, "It really is an ancient gold corpse." At this moment, the system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing delivery with 1 million experience points and 20,000 power of celestial. Start scoring for the mission. The system started spinning crazily. Ding! System rating S. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining a free celestial item lottery. Do you want to start? Hearing this notification sound, Long Fei's body went limp, as if he had been killed for 7 days and 7 nights on the battlefield. His exhausted body finally relaxed, and his heart skipped a beat. Fuck, it's too dangerous. It's too exciting. And then, Long Fei said, "Start up the lottery system." System, damn you, I nearly had a heart attack. If you don't give me something good, I'm going to kill you. A gigantic will started to appear in Long Fei's mind. All sorts of immortal items appeared on the roulette. Immortal binding rope, misty immortal magic, Tathagata blood vein. All sorts of powerful things. And of course, some were also trash. Long Fei roared out in his heart, "Demacia!" The wheel started spinning. Chapter 803, Super Scion. Chapter 803. Super Scion. The wheel was spinning very fast. Long Fei's heart was beating very quickly as he prayed in his heart, "I will definitely pull out a good thing. Right now, I am just lacking blood vein. I would like to become an ancient, exquisite blood vein. Amitabha. The speed of the wheel began to slow down. It was about to stop. It was about to stop. Damn, he passed the Tathagata blood vein. The great, firmament, golden, immortal blood vein has passed as well. Holy *T. Are you going to let me live or not? The wheel was still spinning, and it was getting slower and slower, slowly sliding towards the biggest interface, the first rank healing pill. Long Fei even had the heart to die. He was also crazily blowing on the air. Hurry up and go over. It was unknown if it was because of his breath or if his luck was a little bit better, but the interface of the level 1 healing pill slipped past him and finally froze on again. Long Fei's eyes looked up to the sky. His liver was twitching, and his heart was filled with 10,000 mud horses screaming, "This is called the lottery. This is King trying to take my life." I was just bored. His heart really couldn't take it. Ding! Do you want to try again? Long Fei said, "System, damn it, you're going to play with Lousy's heart disease sooner or later." The idea moved. "Just do it again. I'm still afraid of you." Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Activate!" Following that, Long Fei did not even look at it. He was really afraid of heart attack, not caring about what it drew. Zhang Xinhua looked at Long Fei's excited face, and his expression turned ugly all of a sudden. He couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong? Is there something wrong with it?" Long Fei waved his hand and said, "Liver pain, ignore me." It was at this moment. The wheel stopped spinning. The system sounded out. Long Fei closed his eyes and said, "You have to give me some face." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Super Saiyan mode. Do you wish to fuse it? As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei was completely dumbfounded. His body kept backing out. "This is impossible. This is impossible, completely impossible. The system would not treat me this well." He did not believe it. He couldn't believe it at all. Super Saiyan mode. This was impossible. However, Long Fei anxiously opened up the system interface and saw that the pointer on the wheel of the Immortal Artifact Lottery was fixed at the interface of the Super Saiyan. What did this mean? This meant that he had won the super special prize, the Super Saiyan. Long Fei's body erupted with power as he clenched his fists tightly and roared, "Who else? I'm only going to ask him one question. Fuck, who else is there?" He really couldn't control it. This was too crazy. Too good, too good. He never thought that he would be able to get into the Super Saiyan mode. This wasn't the rhythm of the heavens. This was the tempo of killing the heavens and slaughtering the earth. It was like a dream. Many people in the hotel started cursing. "Are you crazy? Why are you so mad not to sleep at night? Who else? And Lousy, if you continue shouting, Lousy will not let you see tomorrow's sun." A wave of curses. Long Fei's voice woke up all the guests in the hotel. After Dao Ba and the Heishan heard Long Fei's voice, they also came out, looking at Long Fei's excited expression. They asked, "Master, what happened?" Zhang Xinhua also looked at Long Fei with a stunned expression, his mind saying, "Is this person crazy? Are you crazy? He's a little handsome when he looks crazy." "Zhang Xinhua, you are brainless, right? At what time is it? You're still in the mood to see a handsome brother. It really is the little handsome boy. You really are hopeless." Long Fei quickly calmed down and said, "I'm fine." Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei's heart was like boiling water. It was truly difficult for her to calm down. She took a few heavy breaths, then held her breath with focus. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 experience points for fusing with Super Saiyan mode, power of Celestial 100 points, and 100 points in special rewards. At the same time, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering fusion mode to obtain 100 EXP, 100 power of celestial, and 100 points as a special reward. Fusion mode activated. Long Fei didn't care about the fusion mode. He just wanted to see the properties of the Super Saiyan mode. Fusion mode. Super Saiyan mode destructive power. 10 stars attack power. 10 stars speed. 10 stars. Description. This mode is power of celestial ignition. Lasts for 1 minute. Description 2. When the mode is activated, the player's appearance will change in an instant. The player will be enraged, and their strength will surge. The damage will boil, and you must not use it with caution. It's an explosive display. It really exploded. The system's description was the same as the Super Saiyan in the Dragon Orb. Furthermore, his attack power was at least 10 stars. This was an extremely explosive existence. Long Fei's heart boiled once again, and she wanted to roar out once more, "Who else?" But the ghosts of the night were too immoral. However, Long Fei was an immoral person. He could not hold back anymore. Clenching his fists, the muscles on his entire body tensed up as he roared towards the sky. "Who else?" Another roar. And then the whole inn was in an uproar. "And your grandpa? Are you F*** king letting me sleep? Who else? Who else? You must be a madman. I'm going out to cripple him." A few strong men rushed out. At this moment, Dao Ba and Heishan descended. Stopping the sturdy men, coldly asked, "Who are you going to cripple?" Both of them were desperate, and their auras were not ordinary. The men immediately became impotent and said, "Can I pee when I get up?" "Hold it!" Dao Ba's shout scared those men, and they didn't dare to make the slightest sound. It was the same for the rest of the hotel. None of them dared to speak. However, in their hearts, they paid their respects to the 18 generations of Long Fei's ancestors. They were just scared awake. However, Zhang Xinyue was shocked quite badly by Long Fei. She was all right at first, but then she screamed at the top of her lungs, almost scaring her to the ground. Zhang Xinyue stared at Long Fei and said, "Can you stop being crazy?" Long Fei rushed to Zhang Xinyue's side, grabbed her shoulders, and suddenly kissed. "Pa Ji!" A sound. There was no time for Zhang Xinyue to react at all. She was instantly numb to it, staring at Long Fei. She stood there motionlessly, as though she had been electrocuted. Only after half a minute did she react. "You scoundrel!" Long Fei said, "Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I don't think your luck would have been that good." It had to be. Looking at Zhang Xinyue's expression, under the wall, she should be giving her first kiss. Long Fei immediately thought in his heart, "Is this the power of the first kiss? Ha ha ha. In the future, you'll have to find a girl for your first kiss. You'll definitely be strong. It feels so good." Chapter 804. Chapter 804, Twice a Night. The first time was an accident. However, the second time was a forceful kiss. What was this? Zhang Xinyue's heart had even broken down a little. She had always cherished her first kiss because she wanted to leave it for the man she treasured the most. But now, looking at the hoodlum in front of her with a dark face and a crazy man's tendencies, although he was a little handsome, he was completely different from the one in her heart. His heart shattered. However, Long Fei still did not give her time to heal. He quickly calmed her down and said, "The ancient gold corpse are already placed in front of you regarding Chinduo and the others' deaths. I can only apologize. I am powerless to do anything. Chinduo died in the hands of the Black Knife. This matter must not be known to Zhang Xinyue." Long Fei continued, "Can you let me see what's inside the coffin?" He always wanted to know. The reason the ancient gold corpse was sent to the Wild Mountain City was also because they wanted to know what was inside. Was it the ancient gold corpse, or was it a bunch of secret treasures? Zhang Xinyu slowly said, I can't open it here. She also calmed down, looked at Long Fei, and said, Thank you for bringing back the ancient gold corpse for me. I will pay you double the cost of the shipment. Please forgive me, I can't open it here. And I can't open 3 boundary S by myself. Long Fei knew this would happen, but he never expected that even Zhang Xinyu would not be able to open it. He asked, You are the patriarch of the Wilds family. Why can't you open it? Since you can steal the ancient gold corpse, you should be able to open it, right? The expression in Zhang Xinyue's eyes secretly changed. You know of Wilds family? At this time, Long Fei revealed his identity and said, I am a student of the God Emperor Academy. Wilds family, family of tomb robbers. God's Martial Continent's family is ranked 30th, and because they stole the dragon's tomb, they were suppressed by the Long family, and from then on, disappeared without a trace. It's rumored that the Wilds family's clan was exterminated by the Long family. You are the only tomb-robbing families in God's Martial Continent. Zhang Xinyu looked at Long Fei and said in shock, You are a student of the God Emperor Academy? At this moment, her eyes were filled with envy. Her dream, when she was young, was to enter the God Emperor Academy to cultivate, but now, her entire life was trapped by this wild mountain city. She now carried the fate of the entire family on her shoulders. Zhang Xinyu said slightly, Since you already know about the Wilds family, then I might as well tell you, this ancient gold corpse is split into 3 different boundaries. It will be opened by 3 keys, not 1 less. These 3 keys were stolen first, and have always been sealed in the Wilds family's forbidden grounds. The ancient gold corpse had spent 3 generations of effort to finally unearth them, and the 3 keys are also divided. If you want to open the sarcophagus, you must first obtain 3 keys. Zhang Xinyu did not hide from him. The excavation of the ancient tomb had taken 100 years. The first thing to be stolen was the 3 keys to the boundary. As for what was in the coffin, no one knew. Only the old man from the Wilds family was able to deduce from the rare words on the key that it was an ancient gold corpse, but he did not confirm it completely. Long Fei muttered in his heart, 3 boundary keys. Yan Huang ancestor said, She shouldn't have lied to you. During this time, I have been searching for the boundary's weakness and was unable to find it. It should be just as she said. I require the boundary's key to open it. Long Fei said, Then how do you want to deal with the ancient gold corpse that is being transported to Wilds family? Zhang Xinyue's brows tightened and said, No matter what, I will not open it. She had already thought about this a long time ago. They would definitely not give Zhang Qiqian any chance to fuse with the ancient gold corpse. As long as she did not take out the key, Zhang Qiqian would not be able to open it. Long Fei was puzzled. Why? Don't you want to see what's inside the sarcophagus? Zhang Xinyu said, I don't want to know, but people's greed is limitless. The more you want to know, the more you will want to do it. And the deeper you will sink. Wilds family is just like that. If I hadn't. After saying this, she did not finish her words. She looked at Long Fei and said, In short, I will not open the sarcophagus and will not bring any destruction to the Wilds family. Zhang Xinyue's eyes were incomparably firm. Doing this was not a good thing for Long Fei. She did not want to open it, but Long Fei wanted to know what was inside. What if it was a huge pile of immortal crystals? Didn't that mean he had struck it rich? Didn't that mean the ghost soldiers could level up crazily? But since Zhang Xinyu insisted, Long Fei could not say much and said, Your patriarch's position should also be in danger, right? It could be inferred from Zhang Dadi's words when they were at the entrance of the Wilds family's palace. Zhang Xinyu suddenly looked at Long Fei and asked, Can you help me? Long Fei asked, How do I help? Zhang Xinyu said, help me transport the ancient gold corpse into the Huang spirit manor. Long Fei said, "Didn't you not want to open it? Why did you transport the ancient gold corpse in?" Zhang Xinyue said, "I don't want anyone to activate the ancient gold corpse, and I also don't want to lose the position of patriarch. Nothing like this can be lost right now." Long Fei was a little confused, but he readily agreed. Sure. He didn't know what ability Zhang Xinyue had, but he knew that there were definitely people in the Wild's family who wanted to open the sarcophagus, and Long Fei himself wanted to open it as well. Moreover, Zhang Xinyue had the key, Zhang Qiqian had the key, the Elder Pavilion had the key, and he also had the key on him. This was because not only were there 3 boundaries in the sarcophagus, there was also the 4th boundary that the Yan Huang ancestor had set up. Zhang Xinyue said, "Thank you. Tomorrow morning, Wild's family will hold a family meeting in the ancestral hall. At that time, you can just transport the ancient gold corpse to the ancestral hall, and I will give you 100 fairy stones as a reward." Zhang Xinyue said. She did not let Long Fei bring the ancient gold corpse into the Huangling manor immediately. He absolutely could not give Zhang Qiqian any chance. If he wanted to turn the tables around, he had to catch Zhang Qiqian off guard and make him have no chance to respond. Moreover, other than the orchids, there was no one else that Zhang Xinyue could trust in the desolate spirit palace. She could only trust Long Fei. There was no other way. Zhang Xinyue looked at Long Fei and said, "I'll leave everything to you." Zhang Xinyue left. Dao Ba and He Shan walked over. "Boss, are you really going to help her? The cultivation of the assassins in the Dawn Shroud Valley isn't simple. Since Wild's family is an ancient family, then he must be very strong." Long Fei looked at the huge sarcophagus beside him. His lips curled slightly as he said, "Wealth comes from danger. We have to go on this trip." Chapter 805, Family Meetings. Chapter 805, Family Meetings without the 3 keys. The boundary on top of the sarcophagus would not be able to open it. Long Fei had to enter the Huangling manor. The night passed in silence. In the morning of the next day, Long Fei woke up early. However, he suddenly realized that he was missing a person. Long Fei asked, "Where's Black Knife, Uncle?" "The Black Knife is gone," Dao Ba said. "He was here last night. How come he disappeared in the morning?" The Black Knife had been unconscious the entire time, and they did not know when he would wake up either. It was just that. They did not know that the reason the Black Knife woke up early was because of Long Fei's ghastly howls last night. The power that was filled with excitement woke him up. Seeing Long Fei and the others return to his room, he also pretended to be unconscious and only got up to leave after they had slept soundly. He Shan ran up from downstairs and said, "We didn't find anything, so we should be going. This is bad." When Long Fei thought about the Black Knife's daughter in Wild Mountain City, his heart immediately tightened. He must have gone to the Huangling manor. "We should hurry up." Long Fei was a little worried. Black Knife were indeed strong, but his fatal weakness was his daughter, and the reason his willpower was so tenacious was because of his daughter. Furthermore, he was heavily injured, so he definitely wasn't a match for the other party. Long Fei said, "Bring the ancient gold corpse with you to the Huangling manor." At this moment, the desolate spirit manor was bustling with noise and excitement. Today was a family meeting. All the elders and important disciples of the Wild's family must participate. Great Clan Elder, today is your good day. Big Brother, after today, you will be the one in charge of Desolate Spirit House. Grand Elder, I will fully support you. On the way to the ancestral hall, Zhang Qiqian met many elders, all of them expressing their goodwill to him. All of them were his people. After today, he would become the boss of the Desolate Spirit House. He will lead the Wild's family to rise up once again. Zhang Qiqian's face was filled with a smile of satisfaction on his face. He had everything in his hands. As long as he chased Zhang Xinyu out of the Desolate Spirit clan, the entire clan would follow his lead. Thinking of this, he could not help but feel an urge in his heart, the opposite of Zhang Qiqian. As Zhang Xinyu walked on the road, not a single person greeted her. They even sent her looks of disdain, along with all kinds of ridicule and laughter. A good dog doesn't even block the way. You're a member of the Desolate Spirit family, yet you want to snatch the position of the patriarch from the Great Elder. What qualifications do you have? You shouldn't be a nice young miss, but you still have to come out and find discomfort. Humph, how can a woman control our Wilds family? I don't know what she thinks. On the way, he heard all sorts of mocking discussions. Zhang Xinyu turned a deaf ear, and his expression became very calm. This kind of ridicule and scorn had been going on ever since she had become patriarch of the Desolate Spirit clan, and had never stopped. She was used to it, no matter what. For her father's last wish for the entire Wilds family, no matter how much mockery she faced, she would endure the pressure. In the ancestral hall, the 9 elders of the Pavilion of Elders were seated. The surrounding area was filled with the elite disciples of the clan. At this time, Zhang Qiqian walked into the ancestral hall. All the clan elders in the ancestral hall all stood up to welcome him. It was obvious Zhang Qiqian had everything under his control. On the other hand, as the patriarch, Zhang Xinyu looked at him with cold contempt. No elder stood up for her. Half an hour later, the head of the elder pavilion, Zhang Qingtian, stood up and said, "Almost all of us are here. You can begin. This family meeting is about the new family head, Zhang Xinyue's recent contribution to the family assessment. If anyone has any objections, please state it." As soon as he finished, an elder stood up and said, "There is nothing much to announce. Our Wilds family is an aristocratic family with millions of years of heritage. We should not let a woman decide our fate. I suggest that we revoke her position as patriarch." "I second that." "Me too." "I second that." The few elders immediately stood up. Zhang Xinyu was calm. The purpose of this clan meeting was to discuss the future of the clan, but it was actually aimed at her, to attack her. However, her position of clan leader was acknowledged by the 9 elders. If they wanted to remove her from the position of clan leader, these few elders wouldn't have enough support. Thus, she did not speak. One of the clan elders from the pavilion said, "It is indeed the first time a woman becomes the clan leader in our Wilds family, but her position of clan leader was recognized in the ancestral hall, yet you say that she has to be removed." At this time, Zhang Dadi stood up and said, "Sixth elder is right. To remove the patriarch is a huge matter. We cannot remove them just because a few people disagreed. Then do we, the Wilds family, still have family rules?" Everyone was taken aback. Several clan elders thought, "Isn't Zhang Dadi one of Zhang Qiqian's men? Why did you speak up for Zhang Xinyu?" Following that, Zhang Dadi looked at Zhang Xinyu and said, "Our clan master had obtained the approval of the elders. If you want to remove him, then you must at least come up with a substantial excuse." As soon as he finished, Zhang Dadi took a step forward and said, "Zhang Xinyu, let me ask you this. A month ago, you promised to transport the ancient gold corpse back to the Desolate Spirit Palace. Now, let me ask you, where is the ancient gold corpse? We, the Wilds family, have spent 3 generations of our resources to excavate the ancient gold corpse from the ancient tomb. Our resources, manpower, and financial resources have all been exhausted. Now, let me ask you, where is the ancient gold corpse?" He asked forcefully. Zhang Xinyu raised his eyes slightly, glanced at Zhang Dadi, then shifted his gaze to Zhang Qingtian and said, "Great Pavilion Master, if you address the patriarch's name in the ancestral hall, how should you punish such a heinous crime?" Zhang Qingtian was startled. Everyone in the ancestral hall was slightly shocked. Zhang Xinyue immediately looked at Zhang Qiqian and said, "Uncle Qitian, you are the person in charge of the desolate spirit family's law. You should be clear that I want to know how you're going to punish such a heinous crime." Zhang Qiqian's eyes turned sinister. He slowly stood up and walked to Zhang Dadi's side and fiercely slapped him and shouted, "Hurry and apologize to the patriarch." Pa! A resounding slap across the face. Zhang Dadi's face burned with an incomparable amount of pain. Staring at Zhang Qiqian's fierce eyes, his heart turned cold, and he immediately apologized to Zhang Xinyue. "Patriarch, I'm sorry." Although Zhang Qiqian had hit him, he only hated Zhang Xinyue. Zhang Qiqian slightly asked, "Patriarch, although he is guilty of disrespect, he is also from the desolate spirit family. I would also like to know, where is the ancient gold corpse now? You promised before that today is the deadline. If you can't take out the ancient gold corpse, I'm afraid you won't be able to explain yourself today." As soon as he finished speaking, the other elders immediately asked, "Where is it? Where did you get the ancient gold corpse? Do you know how much energy we spent in the Wilds family to get this ancient gold corpse? You don't take the Huang Ling family seriously at all. What else can a woman do but have children?" The sounds of punishment came from the ancestral hall. Chapter 806. Our turn to go on stage. Chapter 806. Our turn to go on stage. Zhang Xinyue still did not give any response. Zhang Qiqian sneered in his heart as he looked at the silent Zhang Xinyue. "If you can't take out the ancient gold corpse, then you have to give up your position as patriarch. I'm definitely going to win today." Zhang Qingtian suddenly stood up. The ancestral hall is silent. Everyone quieted down. Zhang Tiancheng asked, "Xinu, where is the ancient gold corpse? Can you take it out?" Zhang Qiqian laughed. "I heard that a few days ago, the caravan that was escorting the ancient gold corpse was ambushed, and the ancient gold corpse was lost in the desert." As soon as he finished, another uproar broke out. Zhang Xinyue's pressure became even heavier. Zhang Qiqian laughed blandly. "Patriarch, you lost the ancient gold corpse and burned the blood and sweat of the 3 generations. You cannot take on this responsibility." Zhang Qingtian frowned and asked, "Xinu, is what he said true? Did we really lose the ancient gold corpse?" Zhang Xinyue slowly stood up. The ancestral hall was also silent as everyone looked at her. Zhang Xinyue did not reply them, but instead asked, since the time Wild's family had hidden himself in this world, he had already promised that he would never steal the tomb of the strong, and he will not commit any more mistakes. "My great-grandfather once stopped the excavation of an ancient tomb. I'd like to ask, why did we steal the ancient gold corpse? Have all of you forgotten the teachings of our ancestors?" Zhang Xinyue swept his gaze across the entire audience. Zhang Qiqian shouted, "Our Wilds family is an ancient clan, and we possess a unique power. As long as we can steal the tomb of the strong and obtain the power inside their bodies, we can become the strongest clan in the gods' martial continent." "Why did you ask me?" "Zhang Xinyue, let me tell you, for the sake of the clan's rise to prominence. This is a place that years women do not understand. The Long family was the strongest clan." Shouted straightforwardly. "I'm just asking you, what is the current Long family? Great the clan strong elder. Warriors you must be doing this for your own ambitions, in one night. And the Long family was reduced to a useless family. Then it's the dragon body tomb. Gods, do you want to bring the Wilds family into desperate straits once again? What is the Long family and now? Even bring him even if it's destruction? So as what if our Wilds family activates the dragon body tomb again? Zhang Xinyue, could it be you're that too presumptuous? Can still crawl out from the underworld? Weakness. The Wilds family was indeed suppressed by the Long family. The one who is presumptuous is that you. Was millions against of years our ancestors' but teachings. What about now? You want to obtain the power of the Golden Corpse, where Long family was currently hiding in a wasteland, to crush you was again? In a terrible state. Cluck. It couldn't even be compared to a lowly clenched his fists. How could they still crush which made cracking noises? Just as Zhang Qiqian was saying this, if not for the fact that coincidentally already made his move the ancestral hall. In the ancestral temple, Zhang Qian was taken aback. I know that the Long family suppressed the Wild's family. Then let me ask you, but I don't know why. Long Fei's eyes darkened, and he muttered, "Now I know. Tomb of the Dragon. It should be Yuan Long's body." But why did the Long family suppress the Wild's family because of this matter? What exactly is the relationship between the Long family and the dragon race? Long Fei's mind was once again filled with this question. This question had always troubled him, and he had never found an answer. Dao Ba asked, "Master, should we go in?" Long Fei said, "Wait first." In the ancestral hall, Zhang Qiqian sneered with contempt and said, "The current Long family is like a dead dog. How can he suppress my desolate spirit family? If he comes with me, I can squash him with one finger. Zhang Xinhua, tell me, how is the Long family going to suppress us?" Zhang Qiqian's tone became cold. Indeed, just like he said, Long family was currently too weak and was simply not a match for Wild's family at all. How would he suppress them if he did that? Zhang Xinhua said, "Even though Long family cannot do it right now, it does not mean that it cannot do it in the future. Furthermore, the Dragon Body Tomb is the most dangerous tomb in God's martial continent. There is a rule in the ancestors that no one is allowed to touch the Dragon Body Tomb." Ha ha ha. Zhang Qiqian laughed out loud and said, "One word from you, the left one from the ancestors, and the right one from the ancestors. But you seem to have forgotten, your first word of your ancestors' teachings is for your clan to rise to greatness. Zhang Xinhua, why are you blocking the rise of the Wild's family? You don't seem to know? Sky-separating clans Pan Clan has already reappeared in the immortal domain and defeated the Long family's men in one move. What is there to be afraid of in a Long family like this?" As soon as his voice faded, immediately countless voices of approval were heard. This is a different time. The times are changing, and we should be changing as well. The former Long family was indeed powerful, but now that he has fallen, he is no longer a threat to us. I agree with what Grand Elder said. Who do you think the Long family is? I'm afraid of him. Zhang Xinhua was forced speechless. However, there was someone who was even more enraged than she was. Long Fei, who was outside the ancestral hall. "Damn you, are you saying that my Long family is like this? I'll let you have a taste of me, a super scion, and beat your shit out of you later." Long Fei secretly clenched his fists. He could not allow people to speak of him, the Long family. Since they looked down on his Long family, he would make them pay the price. At this time, Zhang Qingtian said slightly, "There's no need to go that far. Xian, let me ask you, did you really lose the ancient gold corpse?" Compared to the Tomb of the Dragon, he was more concerned about the ancient gold corpse. He had already reached the point where his lifespan was running out. Zhang Qiqian had promised him that as long as he supported him, he would be able to absorb the energy on the ancient gold corpse. That way, he might be able to break through and gain even more longevity. Zhang Xinhua said slightly, "If I bring the ancient gold corpse here." Not waiting for her to finish, Zhang Qiqian immediately laughed out loud and said, "Patriarch, as long as you bring the ancient gold corpse back to the desolate spirit palace, you have the final say in everything that happens in the future." But is that possible? The ancient gold corpse has disappeared into the desert. It was also at this time Zhang Xinhua called out to the outside of the ancestral hall, "Bring the ancient gold corpse in." The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled into an excited smile and muttered, "Let me see just who is slandering my Long family. If the Long family can step on you once, he can step on you twice." And then Long Fei said to Dao Ba and the others, "It's our turn to go up on stage." Zhang Xinyue said, "Pavilion Master, all these years have passed without us relying on the power of the strong corpse to cultivate well. There are no shortcuts in the path of cultivation. We should give up on these and continue to train wholeheartedly, rather than absorbing the strength of the strong body." "Don't say any more," Zhang Qingtian instantly interrupted. "The reason why the Wilds family is a Wilds family is because we possess a unique ability. XINU. I admit that I started to have some prejudice against you, but today you should bring the ancient gold corpse back to the desolate spirit palace. You have already passed the Elder's Pavilion test, and you will continue to be the patriarch of the desolate spirit palace. Now, activate the first boundary." Zhang Tiancheng could not wait any longer. However, Zhang Xinyue did not take out the key, but instead said, "Pavilion Master, the greed of humans is limitless. Today, after absorbing the power of the ancient gold corpse, tomorrow we will be thinking of opening the dragon's body tomb. The warning the Long family gave us a chance to start anew. We can't go any further wrong." Long Fei was a little shocked as he looked at Zhang Xinyue. Who in this world didn't yearn for great power? What was in the coffin? The physical body of an ancient expert? Endless secret treasures? Who doesn't want it? Let alone the disciples of the Wilds family. Even Long Fei himself was the same. Unexpectedly, Zhang Xinyue's heart was not moved at all. He had to admit that Long Fei admired her. However, Zhang Qiqian let out a cold laugh, grabbed onto the hearts of everyone, and said coldly, "Zhang Xinyue, you can't be wanting to keep it for yourself, right? Then aren't you being too ruthless?" Zhang Qingtian said angrily, "Zhang Xinyue, this is the contribution of 3 generations of the desolate spirit family, and not just you. I am ordering you to open the first boundary in my capacity as the Pavilion Master right now." Zhang Xinyue said, "There are no shortcuts in cultivation. Pavilion Master, you cannot place your hopes on the ancient gold corpse. You should cultivate diligently and fight with the heavens for your life." "How dare you?" Zhang Qingtian became furious and shouted, "I don't need a little brat like you to teach me. Even if you don't open it today, you still have to. For the sake of great power, people could ignore everything else. In this world of martial artists, this was even more so. Everyone wanted to become strong, so the ancient gold corpse in front of them was the chance for them to become strong. No one wanted to miss this chance. Every disciple in the ancestral hall looked at Zhang Xinyue as if they were looking at their enemy. Zhang Xinyue's heart ached. He was afraid that the millions of years of inheritance had collapsed. Once Wild's family resumes his path of robbing tombs, it would be a path of destruction. The strong warriors of the Long family had predicted that they must not open the dragon body tombs again. Otherwise, there would no longer be a Huang spirit race in this world. Zhang Xinyue said heavily, "I will definitely not hand over the key." Zhang Qingtian shouted, "Zhang Qiqian." Zhang Qiqian immediately said, "Disciple is here." Zhang Qingtian said angrily, "Take her down. She has to hand over the key today." Zhang Qiqian excitedly laughed and said, "Understood." "Finished." Zhang Qiqian shouted, "Zhang Xinyue, hand over the key today, and we can get along. If you don't hand it over, then don't blame me, your uncle, for not being polite." Not waiting for him to finish, Zhang Qingtian could no longer wait and said, "Hurry and do it." It was at this moment Long Fei took a step forward and said, "So many people bullying a woman. Do you guys have the nerve to do so?" Zhang Xinyue immediately said, "You guys go. This is none of your business." Zhang Qiqian's eyes turned sinister. He stared at Long Fei and asked, "And what kind of dog are you?" Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "My surname is Long, and I'm flying with one word. I'm from the Long family of the Southern Domain, and Long Wushan is my ancestor. You know who I am now?" As soon as he finished, the entire ancestral hall shook, especially Zhang Xinyue. She was incomparably shocked in her heart. Looking at Long Fei, he muttered, "Could it be that Long Wushan's prediction is about to come true? Is he the man in the prophecy?" Zhang Qiqian's brows tightened and started laughing coldly. "I said you're a retard. Since you admit that you are a member of the Long family, then let's settle all the new debts together. I want to see if the current darn Long family still has the ability to fight against my Wild's family. Men, kill them." Long Fei's fist shook. He stared at Zhang Qiqian and laughed. "My Long family can suppress you once and can suppress you twice. Boss, come at me." With a flick of his body, the iron hooks had already reached Dao Ba and He Shan's collarbones. It was extremely fast. However, the moment his iron hook was a few centimeters away from Scarface's collarbone, Zhang Dadi revealed a complacent look. As long as he could catch both of his hooks, he could remove half of Scarface's arms. Sky Tyrant Strike. Bam! Long Fei released the ability of an Overlord Stone Devil, bent his legs, and ruthlessly pushed himself up against the kneecap. Boom! It was directly placed on Zhang Dadi's chest. Bam! Zhang Dadi was pressed firmly onto the ground. His chest started to crack, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Without waiting for him to react, Long Fei hugged his hands. Mountain hit fist. Roar! The violent diamond ape roared angrily. Bang! It heavily smashed onto Zhang Dadi's head. Bam! Headshot! The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Zhang Dadi for gaining 3,500 experience, 300 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 130 fairy stones. Wow, 130 fairy stones, so much money. Long Fei was secretly excited in his heart. At this moment, the two elders attacked together. Long Fei raised his eyes, his body flipped, the tyrant sky-style attack had finished cooling, and he shouted, "Rumble!" He was knocked back in an instant. 1 second of cooldown and an unlimited combo. And then, Long Fei's gaze swept across the entire audience and said, "Who said just now that there was no one in the Long family? Who said that? Who said I wanted their lives? As for the others, I can show mercy, but if you want to court death, I will not let any of you go. Kill them all." Incomparable savagery. Being this arrogant in someone else's home, Long Fei was also considered the first. Dao Ba and He Shan both felt their blood boiling. However, Zhang Xinyue frowned. It was fine if they did not kill people, but if they did, then the battle would not stop so quickly. Moreover, Long Fei was only at the 8th stage of the Raging Immortal stage, but the difference between him and Zhang Qiqian was simply too great. He wasn't a match at all. The 9 experts of the Elder Pavilion did not even make a move. If they made a move, Long Fei would not even have a sliver of hope of survival. Zhang Xinyue said anxiously, "Long Fei, you guys hurry up and go. This matter does not concern you." Go. That was impossible. Head can be cut off, blood can be lost, but a boss cannot be left unscathed. Seeing the boss leaving was not Long Fei's style. Of course, even if he wanted to leave, Zhang Qiqian would not let him leave. Zhang Qiqian looked at Zhang Dadi, whose head was about to explode. His fury was raging, and his entire body was releasing a blazing aura as he said solemnly, "Close the door." Boom! The two elders stood up and quickly closed the doors to the ancestral hall. Chapter 8:10 Defensive Explosion. Chapter 8:10 Defensive Explosion. In terms of cultivation level, Long Fei was not his match. In terms of strength, Long Fei was not his match. But in terms of treasures and other powers, Long Fei had always been the one to crush his opponent. Zhang Qiqian activated Yuan Xian's corpse qi to protect his cultivation and suppressed everyone in the ancestral hall. His killing intent rose as he locked onto Zhang Xinyue and smashed his palm down. If he was hit by this power, he would definitely die. Zhang Xinyue looked at Long Fei with a pleading gaze. She didn't know why, but she felt that Long Fei could save her at this moment. She believed that what she had predicted would not be wrong. Someone from the Long family would descend upon the Wild's family again and save her family. This was Long Wushan's prophecy. Save me! Zhang Xinyue suddenly shouted. Zhang Qiqian laughed coldly. No one can save you. You brought all of this upon yourself. Ah! Zhang Qiqian exploded out, smashing straight towards Zhang Xinyue. In that instant, a burst of power burst out. Buzz! His body flashed with a golden light, and the entire ancestral hall became extremely dazzling. Long Fei's aura had undergone a tremendous change. The most obvious change was in his hair. In an instant, it had turned into an angry blonde hair that soared into the sky. His body exploded with power, powerful to the point of being a complete mess. Just like the Super Saiyan in the Dragon Pearl, the scene instantly turned crazed. Ding! Player Long Fei has activated Super Saiyan mode. Countdown begins. Once a day, only a minute at a time. However, this minute was enough. Long Fei's voice was as loud as a bell. Sky Tyrant strike. Boom! Like a heavy bomb, he smashed down, directly landing in front of Zhang Xinyue. Facing Zhang Qiqian's attack, he did not even try to flip his hand. He used his body to block it. What does he want to do? Is he stupid? Is this person crazy? What Zhang Qiqian released is the Yuan Xian's corpse qi. He only has a Berserker Immortal's 8th-stage body. No matter how strong he is, he cannot withstand it. This person is definitely retarded. Many disciples were talking about it in the ancestral hall. They all thought that Long Fei was courting death and revealed looks of disdain. If you want to be a hero and save the beauty, you have to see if you have the ability to do so. If you want to rush up and defend against Zhang Qiqian, do you really think you are the ancestor of the Long family? Dao Ba and the Heishan also had anxious looks on their faces. Behind him, Zhang Xinyue looked at the suddenly mutated Long Fei, and an indescribable feeling arose in her heart. Looking at Long Fei's back, she felt very grand. Zhang Qiqian's palm landed, as he said with contempt, "Kid, you like to court death, right? Then go to hell." The force of his palm attack exploded out. From the looks of it, his defense was not just an ordinary strong one, but rather quite strong. At least the strength of a Yuan Xian could not do any substantial damage to him. The realm of Yuan Xian, the level of those elders in the heavenly hall of immortals. In the future, you don't have to worry about any old bastard from Tong Tian Hall of Immortals. Puff! Zhang Qiqian couldn't hold back and spat out a mouthful of blood, revealing a bloody tooth. His expression was extremely sinister as he stared at the mutated Long Fei, and the flames of fury in his heart burned crazily. Everyone in the ancestral hall was dumbfounded. They all looked at Long Fei, dumbstruck. Is this a person? Confirm that he is a human and not a god. Is this the people from the Long family? Who said that the people of the Long family are all trash? Isn't that too terrifying? In their eyes, the people of Long family were a very powerful existence because they had crushed their ancestors millions of years ago. Since young, they had been tasked with the task of rising to power. Long family had also become the shadow in their hearts. This was the first time they had met someone from the Long family, and their strength was overwhelming. The 9 great clan elders' hearts sank. They were still thinking about taking revenge on Long family, but it looked like they could only kneel down and lick it now. Zhang Xinyue was the closest to her, so she could most clearly feel the kind of powerful strength that was being released by Long Fei, a power that simply did not belong to this world. The power of a god was average. Long Fei slightly crooked his finger and pointed at Zhang Qiqian. Didn't you say that my Long family is inferior to the last-rate family? Didn't they say that our Long family has become a trash clan? Didn't you say that there is no one in Long family? Get over here, right now. Come on and mess with me again. Chapter 8:11. 1 second KO, burst. Chapter 8:11. 1 second KO, burst. Long Fei's words were getting stronger and stronger. Each word was more and more arrogant than the last. He could move him, but not his brother. He could say that, but not his family. Everything was for him. When he first heard Zhang Qiqian's words of contempt towards the Long family outside the ancestral hall, he did not feel good. Since he was unhappy, he had to do it. Long Fei's face was full of contempt as he said, "I'm still not moving. Retreat and consider me my loser. Come on, you little scum." Zhang Qiqian was infuriated to the point that he couldn't take care of himself. He never thought that Long Fei would be this abnormal. It was also his first time meeting someone from the Long family, so the information he had gathered was definitely not wrong. The Long family was currently only a lowly clan in the South Horizon region. He did not believe that Long Fei could withstand his power. With consecutive roars, both of Zhang Qiqian's palms became illusory and started to frantically strike at Long Fei. Bang, bang, bang. One palm was heavier than the other, and the strength was greater. It was as if he had gone insane. Every time his palm struck down, Long Fei would laugh disdainfully. "Haven't you had breakfast? Can you use more strength?" F***K. Scratching an itch? The blow had struck Zhang Qiqian into a complete mess. He was now starting to doubt whether or not he had fused with the physical body of a Yuan Xian ranker, and was beating him to the point that he was beginning to doubt life. Half a minute later, Zhang Qiqian panted as he looked at Long Fei, his expression incomparably miserable. Long Fei looked like nothing had happened. However, he was as tired as a dog. Shaking his head, he said, "Impossible, absolutely impossible. You're not at the 8th level of the Madman Immortal stage. Just who are you? The Long family definitely does not have this kind of expert. Who exactly are you?" "Zhang Xinyue, just who is he?" Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Guess." Zhang Qiqian said, "The people who killed me at Sunset Valley. They are all experts at the peak of the virtual immortals. You cannot be their match. Who exactly are you?" Long Fei smiled lightly and said, "He's the one who will crush you. Come, let's continue." Long Fei waved his hand at Zhang Qiqian. This sort of feeling was too refreshing. Your father is standing on the spot and letting you hit me, causing you to become disabled. Zhang Qiqian did not move. He had almost used up all of his Yuan Xian's corpse aura, and his body had also fallen into a state of exhaustion. Without waiting for Zhang Qiqian to speak, the corner of Long Fei's eyes turned cold. He looked at the time in the system and said indifferently, "You aren't coming, are you? Then it's my turn." Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Dragon Body Tomb Diagram. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Zhuge Sword Fragment 1. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Immortal Crystal 3 and Fairy Stones 300. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level Wild Immortal Stage Level 9. The system kept beeping. Long Fei was stunned. Wow, 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 wow. These are all good stuff. It's really too deadly. Ding! The Yuan Xian's corpse aura has been dissolved and swallowed. Yan Huang Ancestor chewed. This power is not bad. I'll eat it. Long Fei checked it. Ancient Stone Coffin Boundary Key. This should be the key to opening the ancient gold corpse S, right? Long Fei became excited. I'm still missing two. Following that, Long Fei looked at the Adragon body tomb diagram, and his heart grew excited. The dragon body tomb should be where the Yuan Long's body was buried, right? Ha ha ha. Berserk energy is great. You're going to burst everything out for me. With this Zhuge sword fragment, I should just be missing one more Zhuge sword fragment to recreate it, right? Long Fei was extremely excited. He had to say it. Zhang Qiqian exploded this time with incomparable sharpness and craziness. It completely exceeded Long Fei's expectations. This was also because he was of the tomb robbing clan and was extremely wealthy. Long Fei looked at the 9 great elders and muttered in his heart, if only they were all bosses, I would kill them all one by one. Following that, Long Fei's mind tensed up. Right now, I have a key to open the boundary. I need to think of a way to get the other 2 keys. 9 elders? Ha ha! Long Fei laughed sinisterly in his heart. The Yan Huang ancestor said, another person is about to have bad luck. Since this was the case, there was no need for Long Fei to go any further. It was also at this time. A disciple ran back quickly and shook his head at Zhang Qingtian. I couldn't find the key. Zhang Tiancheng's eyebrows sank. Did he hide the key? An elder said, Zhang Qiqian is paranoid with his personality. He should have kept the key with him. Why isn't he around? Have you checked his space ring? That disciple said, yes, there's nothing. There's not even a single fairy stones. Huh. That's impossible. Why is there nothing? Or did he anticipate this day and hide everything? Zhang Qingtian's frown deepened. At the same time, an elder suddenly said, the map of the dragon's body is still on him. He's gone too, the disciple said. I have checked the space ring and have also searched its body, but there is nothing. Long Fei was extremely happy in his heart. All of the things you're looking for are all on me. If you can find them, then that would really be a ghost. Ha! Seeing how they were so busy and yet were unable to get anything out of it, this feeling felt too good to be true. Long Fei was extremely happy in his heart. However, he was constantly thinking about the other 2 boundary keys. Taking a step forward, he asked, did something happen? Zhang Qingtian immediately laughed. Nothing, nothing, Zhang Xinyue said. It's good that we didn't find the key. This way the ancient gold corpse can't be opened either. We should adhere to my father's ideals, cultivate by ourselves, and rise by ourselves, and not by relying on external forces. Zhang Qingtian's brows sank. He couldn't say anything now. Zhang Qiqian was already dead, and if he couldn't find the key, he wouldn't be able to open the boundary on the ancient gold corpse. Even his eyes were filled with regret. He only had a few more years to live. He didn't want to die. He still wanted to live. However, as matters stood, Zhang Xinyue had already taken control of the situation. If he jumped out to object again, things would become bad. Long Fei took a step forward and held Zhang Qingtian's hand and said, you are Wild's family's great pavilion master, right? My grandfather has been telling me about you. Your grandfather? Suddenly, Zhang Qingtian was a little confused and muttered, I've never seen your grandfather before. Who is your grandfather? It's that lunatic Long. You don't know him? He already knows you. Could he have met you when you were young? My grandfather said that you are very powerful. You are the #1 genius in Wild's family all those years ago. He's handsome. My grandfather was so jealous of you back then. Long Fei did not care anymore, as he could just say whatever it was he wanted to say. Was the pavilion master really that handsome? He was truly blind. At the same time, Long Fei released empty hands, continuously releasing the energy. Ding! Just as Long Fei had said, the consequences, if news of the ancient gold corpse were to be leaked, were unpredictable. He had to think of a way to deal with it. Long Fei said, "How about I bring it back to the Shili Desert and let it disappear into the desert forever?" Zhang Xian's heart tightened. This was what he wanted. With the 3 keys in his hand, regardless of whether he could fuse them or not, regardless of the consequences, he had to open it. Curiosity. Zhang Xinyue was overjoyed and said, "Are you really willing to help me with this?" She also wanted to transport the ancient gold corpse into the desert and bury it there. Even if someone wanted to, they would not be able to find it. Long Fei said, "I want to rush back to Sha Town. I need to hurry back to the academy. I helped you bring it along the way." Zhang Qingtian suddenly said, "You're leaving? Do you want to stay a few more days?" It was good that he didn't say anything. When he said that, Long Fei wanted to fly away immediately. He was really afraid that Zhang Qingtian would crawl into his bed at night. Long Fei said, "The faster the better. No one can guarantee that Zhang Qiqian did not leak the news. You can make the decision. After all, this was dug up using the blood and sweat of 3 generations." Long Fei acted as if he did not care. He had been planning on how to take the ancient gold corpse out from the beginning. Zhang Xinyue immediately decided, "All right, we'll follow your plan. I'll have to trouble you with that." Long Fei going was the best choice. This way he could avoid everyone's eyes and ears. Long Fei said, "Oh, right, Black Knife Uncle's daughter and my bald brothers." At this moment, a group of people walked in from the entrance of the ancestral hall. It was Baldy and the others. Amongst these people was a little girl. Her eyes were deaf and she could not see anything. However, she was more sensitive to auras than anyone else. She instantly sensed her father's position and ran up to him. "Daddy!" The Black Knife's face tightened, turned and ran up, her eyes moistened, as she pulled the little girl into her embrace. "Yuner!" Seeing them embracing each other, Long Fei's heart faintly moved as an envious expression emerged on his face. "My father, where are you now?" Sigh. Deep in his heart, he also wanted fatherly love. One of the reasons to enter the immortal domain was to find his father, Long Shanting. But now, he could only guess that Qiu Wandao had seen his father before, where his father was now, and whether he was still alive. Dao Ba and Heishan also ran forward. Looking at the Baldy and the one-eyed man, they said excitedly, "It's good that they are alive. It's good that they are alive." Black Knife pulled her daughter along as she walked in front of Long Fei. She abruptly shouted and was about to kneel down. At this moment, Long Fei held him back and said, "Uncle, I can't." If not for Long Fei, the Black Knife would have died in the Dawn Shroud Valley. If not for Long Fei, he would not have been able to see his daughter. His daughter was the only thing he could rely on, the only thing he had the courage to live on. The Black Knife said heavily, "Thank you." These 2 words were heavier than 10,000 gold coins, and he hadn't even said those 2 words to Chinduo, whose life was in his hands. Towards Long Fei, his heart was filled with gratitude. Not the gratitude of his life, but the gratitude of his daughter. Long Fei gently patted the little girl's head. Other than her eyes, she looked very cute. His heart was moved as he asked, "Ancestor, is there a way?" Yen Huang Ancestor smiled slightly and said, "I knew that you would ask. Her eyes aren't born with hearing loss. They should have a way. It would be hard if he was born blind. Since the forefather had said so, then it must be possible." Long Fei squatted down and scratched the little girl's nose. "Little girl, do you want to see your father again? Do you want to see the blue sky, white clouds, flowers, and trees?" Yunner excitedly asked, "Big brother, can I see these things again? I like white clouds, like cotton candy, but my eyes." Long Fei replied, "It's all right, Big brother has a way." The black knife looked at Long Fei. Her face darkened as she asked, "Do you really have a way?" Long Fei laughed. "My God Emperor Academy's students. God Emperor Academy has the best medical masters in the entire continent. There must be a way." The black knife was excited. Long Fei was secretly excited in his heart. "Arrogant knife King Kong, I've chosen you." Chapter 8:14. My name, Giant Spirit. Chapter 8:14. My name, Giant Spirit. Everything was ready. Long Fei did not want to stay here for even a second, so he brought enough water, and the food started to flow towards the Shi-Li Desert. This time, Long Fei was the leader. The black knife uncle carried a flag. One day later, Yunner said to Long Fei, "Big brother, they aren't following us anymore." Long Fei muttered, "They didn't follow us? This does not seem to be Zhang Xinyue's style." However, Long Fei did not neglect this, and thought in his heart, "Let's talk after we enter the Dawn Shroud Valley." Also, Long Fei said to the other brothers in the group, "All of you stay here for a while. Let's see if we can find the 9-flower fairy grass." This was his God Emperor Academy's mission. He needed to rely on these missions to gain points for his alchemy. 2 days later, Long Fei and the group entered Sunset Valley. Dao, Ba, hey Shan, you two guard the entrance. Baldy, One-Eyed, the two of you go guard the exit. Long Fei ordered the other brothers to search the Dawn Shroud Valley to see if anyone else was there. Black Knife Uncle, guard outside the cave. Aside from Yunner, everyone else had been commanded to leave by Long Fei. Yunner said softly, "Big brother, there's no one else in the entire Dawn Shroud Valley. No one else from the Wild Mountain City has followed anyone else." Yan Huang Ancestor said, "It's indeed, as she said, there is no one else in this valley. This little lady is not simple. She can clearly feel any aura in the surroundings moving. Even if it's the demon beasts, she can feel it. She's not simple at all. It should be because she has some kind of blood vein in her body. Maybe the reason behind her eyes being like that is because the blood vein's power is too strong." Yan Huang Ancestor said in shock. Long Fei's focus was all on Black Knife Uncle. He didn't pay much attention to Yunner's special abilities. Hearing the Yan Huang Ancestor say this, his heart trembled, and he thought to himself, was it caused by fusing with a blood vein? Yan Huang Ancestor said, "I am only guessing, but this little girl is much stronger than his father. If the power in her body were to explode, she would definitely be very terrifying. Kid, you've picked up a treasure." Long Fei's heart trembled. However, no matter how strong Yunner was, Long Fei had never cared about it. When Yan Huang Ancestor said that there was a way, he would definitely help Yunner cure her eyes with all his might. This was a man's promise. Huff! Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh and muttered, "It's about to start." The reason why he had sent all these people out was because he wanted to open the ancient sarcophagus. He asked the Yan Huang Ancestor, "Ancestor, are you ready?" Yan Huang Ancestor was also impatient. "It's been prepared a long time ago. I really want to see what kind of person is inside. I don't believe that it's an ancient gold corpse." According to Zhang Xinyue, there were many possibilities. Ancient gold corpse, divine powerhouse, great desolate giant god. The other possibility was that there was nothing inside. With the exception of the last possibility, there was a certain level of danger in all other possibilities. Long Fei said to Yunner, "Wait, if you sense anything later, don't be shocked. If I tell you to run, quickly run in the direction of your father. Yunner obediently nodded and said, Yunner will remember. It's starting. Long Fei's palms oozed cold sweat, and he couldn't help but become nervous. He was finally about to take off the veil of the ancient gold corpse, and he couldn't control the excitement in his heart. Patriarch! The Yen Huang ancestor moved. He took the initiative to open the boundary S that had been set up by him. All right. Long Fei moved and took out the first boundary key. Buzz. The boundary key floated up and then landed on the huge stone coffin. A burst of light burst out from the sarcophagus and absorbed the key. At the same time, the sound of metal gears turning could be heard from within the sarcophagus. Kacha! Boom! It was as if a surge of energy had opened up, breaking the first seal. Just like before, the second key was once again absorbed by the boundary on the sarcophagus. A mechanical roar sounded, and the second boundary's power was released. It's the last boundary. Long Fei frowned as he stared at the last flow of boundary's power on the sarcophagus. His heart became more and more excited. What could it be? Mountain of immortal crystals. A soul treasure covered the ground. There should be a lot of such peerless powerhouses who would accompany them in death, right? Long Fei was extremely excited. Yen Huang ancestor said, Your aura is getting stronger and stronger. Brat, don't think about those good things. You should be careful. Yen Huang ancestor was getting nervous. Long Fei swallowed hard and took out the third key. Buzz. The third key was absorbed by the boundary. Long Fei stood Yunner behind him and took a few steps back. Kacha! Boom! With a boom, the third boundary on top of the sarcophagus opened. The sarcophagus also began to slowly slide down. It was very ear-piercing. Yunner suddenly grabbed onto Long Fei's arm and said, Big brother, such a powerful aura. Yunner has never felt such a powerful aura before. The Yen Huang ancestor also added, Very powerful. At the same time, his blood was boiling. Yen Huang ancestor had not felt this kind of sensation for a long time. Brat, you must be careful. Boom. When the sarcophagus landed, it was visible with the naked eye. Waves of gaseous flames came out from the sarcophagus, a light yellow gaseous flame, and the aura it gave off made Long Fei feel a sense of familiarity. He felt like he had seen it somewhere before. Huff! Long Fei exhaled a heavy breath. Yen Huang ancestor also asked, Are you all right? Just now, only Long Fei's idea had entered the space unique to the Titan god. The patriarch himself did not know what had happened. Long Fei replied, I'm fine. Excited, he asked, Ancestor, do you know who that fellow is? Yen Huang ancestor asked, Who is it? Long Fei said excitedly, Giant spirit god. He has come to find Li Yuanba. Lu Bi is his descendant. Li Yuanba is about to ascend to the heavens. Long Fei was very excited to see a strong brother. Yen Huang ancestor was also stunned. Great desolate Imperium, giant spirit. It really exists. Even the Yen Huang ancestor was extremely shocked as he muttered to himself, if it really is the giant spirit god, then the tempo of the Lu Bi going up to the sky is about to begin. Long Fei said, Right now, I really want to know where Li Yuanba is. I really want him to fuse with the giant spirit god. Yen Huang ancestor said, Don't worry, they will be fine. Huff. Long Fei's heart sank. Just what happened? He really wanted to know. However, Long Fei did not want to return to the southern domain. If something really big happened, then it would be useless even if he went back. He needed to become stronger. He needed to become stronger. Long Fei closed the sarcophagus and said to the Yen Huang ancestor, Ancestor, I would like to put the sarcophagus inside. Do you have a way? Long Fei thought, as if the giant spirit god knew. Buzz. The gigantic stone coffin directly entered the space ring on Long Fei's finger. Yen, Huang ancestor said, "My ability is still insufficient to store it inside. If it was possible, I would have done so on the way here." If they could put it into the space ring, Chen Shuang and the others would have done it long ago. After the stone coffin entered the space ring, Long Fei walked to Yunner's side, held her hand, and said slightly, "Yunner, let's go." The stone coffin suddenly disappeared. Yunner could not feel it and felt it was odd, but she did not ask. She nodded slightly and said, "And outside the cave, the black knife was gone." Long Fei did not think too much about it, and his body sank down. Sky Tyrant Strike! Boom! With a loud sound, the entire cave collapsed, and he had to create an illusion. At this moment, Dao Ba, Heishan, and the others had rushed over. Only after seeing that Long Fei was fine did they relax. Seeing the mountain collapse, Dao Ba asked, "Boss, did you take care of the ancient gold corpse?" Long Fei laughed, and he had to hide this matter and could not let the news of the ancient gold corpse be leaked out. He could not do it in the past, and even more so now, he could not do it. One had to know that the prehistoric divine powerhouse was much stronger than the ancient gold corpse. Everyone except the black knife had rushed over. Long Fei could not help but ask, "Have you seen the black knife before?" Yunner giggled. "Big brother, don't worry. My father can't lose him. He's outside the canyon." Following that, Yunner smiled. "My father found what you wanted." "Huh." Long Fei was shocked and asked, 9 flower fairy grass?" Yunner nodded and said, "Yes, it is the 9 flower fairy grass. I can sense its existence." Long Fei looked at Yunner and said, "Did you tell Uncle the location of the 9 flower fairy grass just now?" Yunner stuck out her tongue. Hee. Long Fei was secretly shocked. This little lady is really too powerful. She's simply a living treasure detector. Half an hour later, the black knife held onto an immortal herb with 9 different flowers and came to Long Fei's side, saying, "This should be the 9 flower fairy grass, right?" Long Fei said gratefully, "Thank you." Black Knife Uncle smiled, foolishly, "You're welcome." This was the first time Long Fei saw a black knife laughing. Yunner started laughing excitedly. "Father, please laugh. Father, please laugh." She was happy. She knew what the knot in her father's heart was. All these years, he had been working hard. Even if it was just a smile, it was an act. That smile just now was from the bottom of his heart. This was because the black knife saw hope in Long Fei to heal his daughter's eyes. Long Fei said, "Let's return to Sha Town." Chapter 8:16 Blood Cases Caused by 2 Words. Chapter 8:16 Blood Cases Caused by 2 Words 8 days later. God Emperor Academy, College of War Martial Arts, Aoya's residence. "Is he back yet?" Aoya glared at Wang Qingshan aggressively. Her eyes filled with rage, as if she had enmity with someone. He, of course, was referring to Long Fei. Wang Qingshan shook his head bitterly. "Teacher, not yet." Every day, he would come here to report back. Every time he came here, his heart would be as heavy as a grave, because if Long Fei did not return, he would be punished 100,000 times drawing the sword. Aoya didn't hesitate at all. He didn't come back 100,000 times, all the way until he came back. Wang Qingshan wanted to die. "Teacher, what does Long Fei not coming back have to do with me? It's not like I let him out. Why was I the one to be punished?" He really couldn't figure it out. Because of the 2 words, superimposed, he had been punished every day for the past month or so. So when he had practiced the sword drawing arts, he had been forced to vomit. Why? Why is that? He really wanted to know. But Aoya didn't say anything at all. She simply didn't explain to him. As long as Long Fei didn't come back, She simply said, 100,000 times drawing the sword. It was really hard to bear. He still wanted to use these 2 months to train his insight into sword skill. Now, forget about his insight into sword skill. He didn't even have time to cultivate at all. Who did I offend this time? Wang Qingshan felt that the heavens shouldn't have, but instead just ignored him. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, you have truly troubled me. Wang Qingshan felt bitter in his heart. I have to provoke someone, and I have to provoke teacher Aoya. Don't you know that she's a sword fanatic, and even more so a tyrant? Aoya looked at Wang Qingshan and said, Go back. Come back tomorrow. If I don't master the 100,000 sword techniques today, I will learn 200,000 techniques tomorrow. Aoya's face was solemn. She did not seem like she was joking with Wang Qingshan at all. Wang Qingshan replied softly, then dragged his exhausted body and walked out of the courtyard. Sigh. Long Fei, I really owe you for my past life. Why should I listen to you? What happened to me? Just 2 words alone tortured me for a month. Wang Qingshan wanted to cry. In the yard, Oya frowned. What happened after the stack? Within the span of an entire month, she had increased the power of her insight into sword skill by 20%. However, right now, she was caught up in another doubt, one which she was unable to resolve. After thinking for an entire month, she still could not come up with a single clue. She only thought of Long Fei. If she knew where Long Fei was, she would have still rushed over to look for him. Oya was a very real person. Once she met with a problem, she wanted to solve it immediately. The more she kept it to herself, the more impatient she became. Since you can point out the superposition, then you must know how to explode after superposition, right? Kid, where the hell are you? Why aren't you coming back yet? Aoya was even more anxious than Wang Qingshan. In this period of time, she didn't even have the mood to attend lessons. Her mind was filled with thoughts of Long Fei. Outside the town, at the teleportation array. Achoo. Damn, who's scolding me? Long Fei sneezed a few times in succession, feeling very unhappy. Yunert giggled. Big brother, don't tell me you've caught a cold. Long Fei said, Big brother is very strong. How would I catch a cold? Before he could finish his sentence, he heard another sneeze. He muttered in his heart, Don't tell me, I've really caught a cold. He had been out for almost a month, so he had to hurry back. Long Fei looked at the black knife and said, Uncle, you must hurry to God Emperor City and tell them that I asked them to come here. The teleportation formation is unable to bring people back. If it was possible, Long Fei would disregard the Academy's rules and bring them back, but this kind of teleportation circle cannot. Thus, Black Knife, as could only go to God Emperor City. Long Fei looked at Dao Ba and said, You have all come to God Emperor City. Your stage is not here, and I need your help. All of you come to God Emperor City. If the Black Knife was the 7th King Kong arrogant knife King Kong, then the only thing missing from the current Arhut King Kong was a total of 8 King Kong. Once the 8 Great Diamond missions were completed, one could trigger an item to establish a sect, although Long Fei could also create a sect now. The system definitely mentioned that the method to create a sect was different from what he had imagined. And then again, Long Fei needed his own power now. He needed to build up his own powerful force. The Pan family's power was too huge, and it was the same for Gu Wuji. Even the Heavenly Hall of Immortals S, or even the Dark Domain S, could become his enemies. If he wanted to crush them all, then he must have his own forces to contend against them. Dao Ba's group strength was not bad. All of them had been through hundreds of battles. Tears welled up in Dao Ba's eyes. Boss, we will definitely go. Heishan also said, We will definitely go. Long Fei stepped into the teleportation circle and activated it. He looked at them and said, I'll be waiting for you in God Emperor City. A white light flashed. Long Fei also disappeared. Black Knife uncle carried her daughter and said, "Let's go as well." Yunner muttered, "Father, are we really going to the God Emperor's city?" The Black Knife said, "Of course, the God Emperor Academy has the best medical masters in the entire world. They will definitely be able to cure your eyes." Long Fei had promised him before.